We are live. Welcome to the Political Orphans. My name is Nico Lagan, and I am your in-house conservative. To my left, Rob Ambrose, our token liberal. Our goal is simple. We want to show you that it's possible for a lefty and a righty to not only get along, but when we don't agree, that we are capable of having a conversation like normal human being. Because never forget, common sense has no political affiliations. What's going on, bro?
How's you hanging, brother? What do you got? What are you up to today?
Do you like my intro? I kind of shorten it a bit, like I'm
Yeah, I
removing
do.
the fluff from it.
Yeah. It's good.
It's
It's good.
flowy.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, man.
yeah, it's getting it's tightening up real good. But yeah, no, good. It looks like we got we're gonna pick up where we left off yesterday. Got some new stuff on the go. Gonna be a good show for sure. Good to see the guys are already in there, already in the
Oh,
comment section over on YouTube.
Misfit and Wise Guys are normally going at it on the Discord server.
Love
When
to
the
see it.
show's on, they migrate here, and then I think they're going to migrate back there. But
Yeah.
you know what? Let's start by this because, last week we started a membership program. We added a level at like $2.99, hoping that we would be able to prioritize the message that we're getting, because goddamn, we're receiving a lot of messages.
Yep.
Like we're getting 300, 400 a show, so it's hard to keep track. But I had the bright idea to integrate a Discord server that you can only access if you're a member, and it looks like it's paying out. And people are not only joining the Discord server, but they're actually using it.
Yeah.
Not only are they using it, but you kind of came up with an idea this morning where we should start the show, instead of us shooting the shit like assholes for 30, 45 minutes every show, we're going to do kind of
Gonna
the,
tighten it up a little bit.
well, it's more than that, because this show eventually I would like it to be kind of we rerun it at 7 p.m. at night on X, but there's stuff in the back that myself and somebody else that I can't name had been working on, and the idea is that this would become kind of the late night show. So it would rerun at night. And we've spoken about this before, and you did mention today that you think we should do like a midnight show and just bring more subjects
Kind of
at
the
the
same.
beginning. So
Yeah, they're like the same format. Because if you watch, a lot of those late night shows, they always start the show with the host comes out and he does a little monologue where he talks about, sometimes there's some jokes. It's basically whatever's trending in the news, something that caught his eye. And I was thinking, you know what, we don't really get to our main topics till 45 minutes into the show, anyways. Instead of just having that as just, shooting the shit and just fucking playing with our dicks here, why don't we actually use that space to do the same sort of thing? So any topics that we see that kind of catch our eye, maybe it's not a big enough story to be a main topic. It might be 5 to 10 minutes of conversation. We'll bring it up here in that time period, and it'll just inject a lot more different variety of topics into the show. Give you guys something else to have an opinion on. Give the audience something to discuss. So, so that's the format we're going to start with today. It'll just be based, and then we're going to get into the main topic about the same time, anyways. So,
but where I think we're going to be headed in a very cool direction is that not only was your idea a good one, but then I always get ideas either myself or from somebody else, and then I take it. I just build. That it's my engineering background, right? So now what I've figured out, and for the people that are there, that's our main members that are already chatting. They were chatting 10 minutes before the show started. But the idea is that the next, let's call it the next 30-ish minutes, because it's going to go just like our show is 2 hours-ish. Like it might go over. But instead of just you and I doing research to make sure that we enable our community even more, because at the end of the day, this is what we're trying to build. Yes, we're capable of chatting, of commenting, of having a conversation during the 2.5 hours that we We go live every day. Now we have a Discord server that people can continue, where we can continue the conversation. And if you are on this Discord server, you'll see I participate in almost everything. I'm posting a shit ton on there. It's only going to get
I'm going to start being there a bit more often as well.
But the thing is that I created a discussion board that's called Trending Topics. And the idea, so I mean, we're going to take the idea that Rob had this morning to introduce like a 3 to 10 topics every start of the show for the first 30-ish minutes. Just see what's trending. Not big enough to be topics, not big enough to be the main topic, but big enough that we can talk about it. It might be Canadian news, might be international news, might be US news, might be culture news. Like, it doesn't really matter as long as people are talking about it. And the idea that I got this morning is that to make sure that we utilize the Discord server even more, and that our members are even more active, is that the discussion board Trending Topics is where we're gonna pick some of those topics, like we're gonna address in the first 30 minutes. And today there's 3 of them that I chose directly from there. And not only are we gonna pick from there, but we will give credit to the user that's been talking about it. So not only are we going to show your comments live on air, but we will give you the credit for participating in that trending topic discussion, because you're helping us. At the end of the day, you're making our job easier. You deserve the credit. So we're starting to make it worth it for the people out there. If you've been wondering, should I get a membership? Should I give those assholes $2.99 a month? Well, yes, you should, because it's literally not even the price of a beer, and not even close to the price of Jason's pumpkin latte coffee.
Latte, yeah.
So now you're actually getting your money's worth. Not only are we going to prioritize your comments, not only do you get access to the Discord server, but you can have your voice heard directly here by sharing what you think we should talk about, and we will give you credit for it. If that's not worth $2.99, I don't know what else. Do I need to fumble the
balls? Yeah, because we can do that. But that's the next level. That's the $14.99 level.
But
so yeah, if basically if you're kind of scrolling the social media or something, and you see something that's like, and you'll get a sense of kind of the topics we're talking about as we go through them this morning, and you just see something that either makes you like shake your head or just be like, oh, those fucking idiots. Throw in the trending topics, and there's a good chance that we'll talk about it in the first sort of half hour, 45 minutes of each show. So
it doesn't need to be politically based either.
And in fact, it probably won't be like, it'll probably be more like cultural. Like,
I want to speak more about culture, because I talk about culture on my Instagram, for example, all the time. So culture, comedy. If you see a good skit, I'm always down for a good joke. We can smack that at the end. Oh, fuck, that's a great idea. Fuck, I'm creating a new board. Okay, go ahead. I'm going to create a new folder.
For example, one of the topics that I saw it last night. Maybe you guys saw it. If you didn't, I'm going to play a video here. And it just is like, what the fuck are we doing, man? It's a story about out in Nova Scotia. There was some kids that went missing, and the RCMP did a press conference to, sound the alarm and do the things that cops do. And they started it with a land acknowledgement, and then
I saw that.
Did you see that? A 45-second blurb about African Nova Scotians and how they're a unique culture that has a 400-year, and it's like,
really,
what the fuck are we? How do we get here? Like, talk about setting the wrong fucking tone. You have 2 missing kids, and you're more worried about paying lip service to the woke gods. So that's the kind of story, it probably won't have a ton of discussion. I just want to show it to you. We can all sit here and be like, what the fuck is going on here? And then we'll move on to the next one, and Nico will pick one, and then we'll come back to me. So that's the kind of thing. If you see something like that, throw it in the trending topics. It's not the kind of thing we would do a full 45-minute discussion about on the show. But the reason I like this new format is it allows us to talk about some things that we otherwise might not be able to, because it's not a big enough topic, but I think it's still relevant, certainly under the Political Orphans banner, that I think everyone here can agree is just absurdity.
Hey guys, I just created a new folder called Joke of the Day. It's a new discussion board on the Discord. I'm a big fucking fan of comedy, and especially the very, very incorrect, racist, not politically correct at all. Like, this is my type of jokes. Like, I'll tell you one right now, just to give you an example. Why do how do you call them? Shit. Why do choir boys have their hair split in the middle? Oh, you're such a good boy. You're such a good boy. So there you go. That just tells you the type of humor. So I just created a board because I would like to finish the show with a good joke. Like, we have started doing that.
Post a good joke in there.
It's just, goddamn, it's hard to always. I spend already too much time on social media, so I need your help. If you have some good stuff, some good jokes you think we should share, especially on Friday. Friday's coming tomorrow.
Yep.
Let us know.
Something we'll end like to end the show with on a high note, kind of. Wise guy says Robin wasn't the Discord server a suggestion of yours. Good idea. It was indeed. Robin is, imagine this show ever blows up, it becomes this huge show. Robin, you'll always be able to say, I was the one who suggested that Discord. So you'll always have those.
You know what the worst part is, that I had thought about it the same day you mentioned it, but the fact that no, I thought about it before she did.
Yeah.
But the fact that she said it confirmed that I should take the time, because the reason I never did it, I knew that it would take me at least 8 or 10 hours of my time. This is me spending a Saturday, basically all day Saturday, doing this. As soon as she said it, I'm like, motherfucker, fuck, I gotta do it, and now I'm very happy. So yes, Robin, you were the.
You gotta take a victory lap for that one for sure.
What is it called? There's a word for that. You were the
first.
You know what's kind of what sparks the movement?
Oh, the spark plug or the.
No, that sounds gay. It'll come up to me in like 20 minutes when
Cheryl
I'm not
says,
thinking
"Hi,
about
Robin,
it anymore."
Nico. Hey, Cheryl, how you doing today?
What's going on?
How is it? I'm just gonna go back because I saw something. Wise guy said here earlier. He goes, Doug Ford sure changed his tune about the Western provinces after seeing how Carney stood up to Trump. What a moron. Changes his mind more than a socks. That was actually one of the 3 mini topics I've got. I've got the clip of Doug.
You know what? Start with that right now. If you have it, starts with that, because I wanted to talk about it. So it works out. But what a twat. I was going to say the C word. What a twat.
What a twat. Yeah. All right. Let's see here.
What a fat, crack smoking twat.
Yes. Share screen. Yeah. It's funny because there's no other way to say it. He completely changed his tune.
To Toronto, we'll be going out for lunch. So there's not this big rift that everyone's playing out. I just want to support the people of Alberta and Saskatchewan. They've been ignored for a decade now, and I support them.
It's sure, bro. Sure.
He didn't yesterday.
Referendum isn't such a great idea against the backdrop of these annexation threats from the United States. You saying why did we fall?
Yeah.
Did the premier?
No one brought that up. Maybe that comes on a private conversation. But we're all meeting on June the 1st, June the 2nd. Out in Saskatchewan.
Just the body language too, right? He seems deflated.
I'm telling you, we are. I know.
Considering how obese he is, that's a hard statement.
Make sure we support the people from Alberta and Saskatchewan that's felt left out over the last 10 years. I'll be 100% behind them, and I want to build those pipelines on one condition: they use Ontario steel. So we got to protect the.
I mean, I think, remember we had talked here in the comment section a couple of days ago. I think some of us were saying, I'd really like to see some of the premiers sort of jump in and be supportive. And
sorry, bro, I'm laughing because there's already people. I just created the folder jokes of the day.
They're already
they're already posting some memes. Sorry I cut you off, man. Go for it.
No, all good. Wise guy says now he admits they were ignored for a decade. Yeah, I guess better late than never. I think it doesn't look great on Doug Ford. It sort of suggests his flip-floppy nature. But it is nice to see some premiers actually starting to speak sense, because I think, forget the politics for a second. The grievances are legitimate. If you genuinely want to keep Canada together, you have to recognize that. If you don't, it's a non-starter. So it's good to at least see that. But yeah, kind of not a good look for Doug for sure.
I was watching Moose on the Loose this morning, and he was talking about this, and he's like, "So, how much did Carney pay you to actually give that conference? Like, how much did he give you for that press conference? Like, did he ask you? Because he makes a good point, as in, if Mark Carney would come out and say this, it would make him look weak, especially the way he dominated Trump on Tuesday.
Yep.
Like, this would just make him look like the weak leader we know he is.
No,
so it's like,
when you say dominated Trump, you mean dominated.
Oh,
Trump,
that is
right?
sarcastic,
Yeah, okay.
bro. That is so okay. I'm gonna do this. I do this with my
double
wife
checking.
sometimes.
I figured.
When I do this, I'm sarcastic. So the way Carney just dominated Trump, if he were to come out and say that we need to support Alberta, that means that his two main thing that he's been debating his whole campaign, that he's been drumming, he's not going to do. He literally, hey, boomers, you got honey dicked. So, but the point is that him coming out and saying this kind of works for Carney, but it does make him look like the liberal spy that we all know he is. Like, Doug Ford cannot call himself a liberal, a conservative. He needs to admit that he's a liberal.
Misfit, nah, brother. You
nope.
Put whatever whatever you want.
That's why I told the joke. No, bro. I'm a Christian, and I think the funniest jokes are against Christians. I love those fucking jokes. So nope.
Yep,
there's no. You guys are gonna start to see the type of person that I am on the Discord server. Like, I will cross the bridge I cannot do here. So that no limit, bro. Whatever the fuck it is. Oh, what the fuck did he just post? I cannot show that on here. It's awesome. What the fuck?
What do you got one in mind?
No, but I can't show that here. This is nudity. We're gonna get in trouble. But it's literally, wow, you have to go. I did well to create that, because this is going to be when I feel down, I'm going to open that folder and go check what people are talking about.
Misfit says, sorry, you go.
All I was going to say is I just wanted to show what the wise guy was saying, that Robin wasn't the Discord server a suggestion of yours. Good idea. But somewhere there's somebody that said, I think it was Sylvie. Sorry, I'm looking for
where she said, how can we know?
That's the one.
Yeah. How will we ever know?
Will we ever know that Nico, you thought about,
you
know what? You never will. And I have the microphone, so I can say whatever the fuck I want. And you have to believe me. But seriously, I would give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
I was actually, I've been considering building one for a long time. It's a commitment.
Oh, for sure it is.
That means I'm going to be spending a couple hours every day on that Discord server on top of the updates and all the stuff. But now that it's there, you guys are responding to it. I'm fucking happy that Robin convinced me to do it.
Yeah, it's definitely adding a lot of it's added a completely new dimension to the show, and I think it's definitely necessary. Misfit says he's on damage control right now, 100%. Robin, this is typical Ford, flip flop. Yeah, I think I figured you guys would all be sort of in agreement with that. Misfit says, be supportive, but be genuine. 100%.
What, did that not sound genuine to you? What?
No, she's talking about Doug Ford, I believe. Or sorry, Misfit's talking about Doug Ford.
But that's what I'm saying.
Oh, sorry. I got you.
You did not think that comment seemed genuine? Huh. How interesting.
I don't know. I wonder what caused the flip flop. Because it's very blatant, like why?
Well, that's pretty simple. But that's pretty simple because, again, what else are they going to do? Like, this is why the question of the day. That's making me think. Why do you think the question I chose for today? And by the way, I thought about putting a poll, so there is a poll in the comment section if you guys want to answer it. But that's why the question of the day is, now that Carney stood up to Trump, well, he finally answered Daniel Smith's ultimatum, because that was the main priority, and the left
just ignore.
No, but the mainstream media was bitching at her for saying that, oh, how can you expect him to answer? He needs to deal with Trump. Okay, it's done now.
Yeah,
he dealt with Trump 2 days ago. What next? Is he going to address that question? Is he going to address the ultimatum? And it's funny that yesterday Doug Ford is sent to do this, because come on, this is not his typical way of talk. This is not what he stands for. He's never come out before to say, we really need to help Saskatchewan and Alberta. He doesn't give a fuck about Saskatchewan and Alberta. You can talk all the shit you want. He doesn't care. So what made him move? I'm ready to bet that behind the door, he got a call from his coffee buddy, Mark Carney, that told him to just, hey, help me out here. I can't come out and
hold on. What's the angle there? Do you think that helps Mark Carney to have the provinces say that Danielle Smith has a point?
Yeah, because think about it this way. That's what I was saying earlier. Think about it this way. So Mark Carney ran his campaign on a couple of things, right? First, he's the one, he painted Trump as the worst thing to ever happen since the devil, and he will stand up to him. Clearly, he did not stand up to him. And even the people in the news that are saying that he did, I know deep down they know he didn't. You cannot spin this shit in any way where the vast majority of people will believe you. So that's one. So his main thing, he looked weak. What's his other thing that he's been battling? Climate change. We need to have a carbon tax. We need to do something about climate. And he's been very direct, saying that he will not repeal Bill C-69. That is pretty much preventing Alberta from building the pipelines east and west that they need. So imagine that he came out now and say, you know what? Danielle Smith has a point. I have to give it to her. I will have to remove Bill C-69. We've been saying it since the campaign that there's no way to remove the red tape that he said he would if he doesn't remove that bill. Yeah. This to me is just him hoping or putting pressure or directly asking a guy like Doug Ford that did all the nice photo ops with Carney, that's been defending him left, right, and center, and saying that he did such a great job. Fuck, I should have got that video.
Yeah, that was stupid.
He did such a great job representing Canada with Trump. I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like, go back to smoking crack. But what I'm saying is that if he has him come out, then he can eventually say, you know what? I've been listening to the premiers that are representing all you guys from all the provinces. I think we really need to revisit how we can make this happen. So it makes him look like a great leader because, you know what? I've been listening to the people. The same way as we're praising Danielle Smith, saying she's listening to her people. Even if she's saying that she does not want to separate from Canada, she will still open the door to the referendum if that's what the people want. So that's what the opportunity of Doug Ford coming forward is, opening the door to, oh, you know what? It didn't come from me, but now you had Danielle Smith asking for it. Now you have a guy like Doug Ford. Can you imagine if we actually start working together, that we will take Ontario Steel to build Alberta's pipeline? Province working with provinces, you know, like he can massage this all.
Yeah, I mean,
and he's gonna look strong. And I guarantee you that the people that voted for him are like, he is such a great leader. This is the leader I voted for. So
I guess it depends on what Carney's intent is. See, if he's not intending to meet Danielle Smith's demands or anything, then it's a bad thing to have the other premiers agree that she has a point. But yeah, I see what you're saying. If you think that he's going to try to in some way meet her demands but wants to have cover, then yeah, it's a good thing. But I don't know. I kind of, part of me thinks he is going to enjoy the fight with Danielle Smith and almost dare her, almost a game of brinksmanship. Maybe he doesn't believe she's serious. He's not from Canada, so maybe he just doesn't understand what the dynamics are like here. Maybe he thinks Alberta's just bluffing.
She's too clever for him.
Oh yeah,
Danielle Smith, in my opinion, way too clever for Carney, and she would demolish him.
Oh, no doubt.
What does she have to lose? Zero. She was elected on those type of promises. So what the fuck does she have to lose? She always gonna look good as long as she continue doing what the people wants her to do. So it's a win-win solution for her, and it's a lose-lose solution for him. That's why guys that are easily bought, like Doug Ford, is doing what he's doing. I'm guaranteeing you he's just a foot soldier for Carney, and yesterday, and the videos that he posted after the press conference with Trump, and the video you just showed from yesterday proves my point. It's very hard for me to look at. Imagine somebody that doesn't know Canadian politics, and I show that video of Doug Ford, and then I say, okay, is that guy a liberal or a conservative? People can tell me. Like, I get that from my American followers all the time. Like, who's that guy? Is that guy a liberal or a conservative? When I was showing Pierre Poilievre's videos, I'm like, yep, that's the leader of the Conservative Party. They're like, what the fuck am I watching here?
Jesus.
And but you know, this is a great segue. I wanted to show one video. Now that I wasn't planning.
I was just about to say. Now we'll throw it to you, because the whole point of these topics is to be just 5-10 minutes each. Nothing too big.
And the question for you guys before I show this video is, this was released on the 5th, so 3 days ago on Monday. I did not see it until this morning, but I wanted to get 2.2 million views, so we got quite a few views on it. But I'm curious. This was the first real video that he released since losing the election. I want you guys to tell me, do you like him better, or do you like him less? Like, what's the impression that you get from this video? So check this out.
Well, it's been about a week since the election, and it didn't go how we wanted. But when you get knocked down, you get up and get going. And we've got a lot to be thankful for. I'm thankful for you, the countless people who packed out our rally halls, our 2.3 million extra votes, the 25 extra seats, the breakthroughs in Ontario and BC, the expanded coalition of young people, union workers, entrepreneurs, soldiers, and countless others who had never voted before and are now supporting our conservative cause. Now, it wasn't enough. We didn't get over the finish line, which means that I need to learn and grow, and our team needs to expand. That will be my mission. And we've got a path into Parliament as soon as possible. We'll be holding the government to account, proposing better ideas to solve the problems that you're facing every day. And our mission hasn't changed. I still want to put you back in charge of your life, give everyone who works hard a fair shot at an affordable home, living on a safe street, protected by police and soldiers and sound laws, so that everybody's safe and our flag flies high over the freest country on earth. Now, it won't be easy, but easy street leads to a dead end, and the hardest paths lead to the best destination. Our destination is a country where the possibilities are as big and blue as this prairie sky. Let's make it happen.
So, hey, man, I just caught something before I actually pass the puck to you. He actually said protected by police and soldiers. Street protected by police and soldiers. And then he has the balls to go on to say we are the freest country on the planet. Like, what the fuck? Like, where have you been over the past 5 years? But to you guys out there, does that make you like him more? Like him less? What does that move the needle at all? Like, what do you think about that video?
I mean, I'm not the intended audience, but I don't. I feel like however you feel about Poilievre is basically baked in at this point. If you didn't like him, if you thought he should step down, I don't think that's going to change it. If you already did, I don't think it's going to change it either. It does seem to be, just from my looking at social media and just people here who are conservatives and on the right, that the consensus seems to be they're okay with him sticking around for one more crack at it, I guess. And I guess part of that calculation has to be that there's no one else. Who the fuck who do we put in? Danielle Smith is the only one that I see could have the parts to do it. And clearly she's not going to do it for obvious reasons. So yeah, if it's between Doug Ford and Poilievre, I mean, I definitely understand why people just want to stick with Poilievre.
I just, I find it so awkward. Like, that video was so, this is what I've been saying from him from the get-go. He is not a genuine person. This is what's been bothering me the most. Yeah, he's so weird. But look at his wife. His wife creeps me out. Like, I understand as a family guy, I understand that you want your wife to be involved. Like, the expression that behind every great man, there's an even greater woman. I believe that to my core. But you'll never see my wife on social media, on my social. You'll never see her in my videos. She does not deserve to get the hate that I get every day. That's not her job. That's mine. But this thing, I've always wondered when I see those two people, she seems to be clingy as fuck. Like his wife seems to be. Look at Pierre Poilievre. At one point, he's trying to talk with his hands because if he's like me, talks with his hands.
Yeah.
She holds the hand. She doesn't let it go. So he's like trying to move. Like it's super fucking awkward. And her smile. Look at her face the whole way through.
It's just
like
it just feels
like
very
look at her.
very
She's
stage managed. Yeah, you can imagine a couple of image consultants just off camera being like, smile big now, Pierre, do something. Like,
look at the hand. Look at the hand. Look at the hand. Like he's trying to bring it up, and she's like, "Nope."
She's like, "Nope." It's just,
it's just so awkward. It is so not genuine.
Yeah, there's nothing authentic about it. The whole thing seems very stage managed. I wish he would just allow his personality to show a little more, and maybe, no, I don't really know his personality because you never see it. So maybe the people who do know his personality are like, "Nah, bro, you can't show that." So that's why they're all sort of stage managed.
You know what I said yesterday, that he should just take his cell phone, stick it on a tripod, connect a little wireless microphone, and just say, you know what, guys, I fucked up. I made some mistakes over the election. I want to know what you guys think. What do you think I did well? What do you think I did wrong? What are your comments? What do you want me? I want to hear from you guys. He has 1.4 million followers on X. He could create a room right now and start talking to the people. And you know that a shit ton of people would join and just take pictures, just take comments from the audience. What's stopping him from doing that instead of having a massive production, create those types of dumb fucking videos?
We don't feel like you know anything about the guy whatsoever. I don't feel like I know him any more than I did.
And this is my point, right? I was watching the video. It's like, how is that moving the needle? You might as well not make that video at all. Like, to me, you did not move the needle whatsoever. In my opinion, you made it worse because you're continuing to be the same guy as we saw during the campaign.
If anything, that's the most relevant point, is that it seems like he's probably got the same team, because that's exactly the kind of commercial that the team that advised him during the campaign would have told him to make. Doesn't move the needle. There's just an authenticity crisis. Like, there's no one really showing it, and really the only one showing any authenticity is Donald Trump. And there's a whole lot of
hate him.
And there's a whole lot of baggage that comes with him. If you just had a normal ass politician like a Poilievre, who also took some of what Trump does, not the Trumpiest parts, but just the aspect of just kind of going out there and not stage managing everything, just being yourself, saying what comes to your mind, letting people see the real you. There's such a hunger for that, and it's almost to the point where, like, we keep asking, why doesn't he do that? And at some point, it almost starts to answer that question starts to answer itself, because it's almost like, well, it's probably because the people who do know his personality know he can't handle that.
And I agree completely with you, and it gets worse. This is hold on, I'm trying to see. This is an article that was provided by Nick yesterday on the trending on Discord server. I don't think I can open it anymore because I watched it a few times and now they just, oh no, there we go. Oh no, because I don't have a subscription and there's no fucking way I'm giving my money to the National Post. But this is an article that was released, that was given to us by Nick on the Discord server. And basically, we've been talking about how they're like, who the fuck is advising who is advising him? Where is it? Like, what the fuck are they doing? Turns out that his main advisor is a girl called Jenny Byrnes, Byrnes, and she's been the main political consultant on her campaign, and to a point that they had a caucus on Tuesday to kind of assess what the fuck happened. And one of the main things that came out is the fact that all decisions seem to have to go through her, and often they wouldn't hear back from her. So
and she's still working with him?
Yep. As far as I know, he has not got rid of her. She's still there. She is the political consultant that seemed to be responsible for Pierre Poilievre's campaign. And it's interesting because this is what really, really bothers me. So now you have even your caucus is admitting to you that there's a problem, that she did not, like, she kind of was, we call them in business a bottleneck, like everything needs to go through one person. So
Yep.
if she's busy for 10 hours that day and she's not stuck to her cell phone, she can't approve things. So basically everybody needs to wait on her in order to move forward. That's because you don't trust your people. If somebody needs to approve everything, you have no faith in your people. So if you run a business or you represent a party and you're a leader, so if you're a leader, you need to have the people around you that you trust. Because if you trust them, you know what? Do your job. If you fuck up, we'll figure it out. We'll deal with it, but I trust you. Do your job. Do what you're supposed to do. If you can't trust the people in your caucus, why the fuck are they there in the first place?
100%. I mean, that's
everything that comes,
right?
100%. And everything that comes out of Pierre Poilievre seems to indicate that he is not a strong leader. He does not have the backbone to do interviews. He doesn't have the backbone to be questions. He doesn't have the backbone to fucking pick up a cell phone. He doesn't have the backbone to trust his own people. Everything needs to be funneled through her. He doesn't have the backbone to actually admit that he fucked up, that he actually made some mistakes, that, you know what, bro? I fucked up. I know, we'll do better. Plain and simple. You don't need to fucking stay on this topic for a million years. Just address it, move forward.
Yeah, 100%. I'll take a few of these comments and then we'll just jump on to the next mini topic. Misfit says, let's see the real Pierre. Take the muzzle off him and see what he really thinks. That's all we're saying. That's really all we're saying. And there's a hunger for it. And I mean, for those people advising him, man, like, I don't, it's so safe. They're so risk averse. Let him fuck up. Let him make mistakes. People will forgive that. He just lost an election and people forgave it. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay if he goes out and says the wrong thing, but you're not like, I mean, like here, Rusty Wiener, love that name. As he says here, Rusty? He spoke for 3 minutes and didn't say anything. It's all performative and heavily scripted. Exactly. Right. Like that. We've all seen that speech or that clip, that ad 1 million times from 1 million different politicians. You got nothing. You've got the smiling, dutiful wife. You got him just talking in slogans and platitudes. There's no sense that you know who the real Pierre Poilievre is. Maybe there isn't a real Pierre Poilievre. Maybe he's just whatever the consultants tell him to be.
You know, yesterday I was watching an old school movie. It's a British movie, but it's about 10, 15 years old. It's called The End of the World, or The World's End.
Yep.
And it's just a bunch of high school buddies that wanted to do like a golden mile, as they call it. You do 12 pubs, you drink a beer at each pub, you try to make it to the last one all in one night, right? And there's one of the guys that's a fuck up. He's never changed from there. They failed to do it, and now they want to do it in their 40s. They go back to that small town, and turns out it's been invaded by empty robots controlled by aliens. And what you just said there is like, this is what I see of Pierre Poilievre right now, is that you could literally take his head off, like, boop. Because in the movie, the heads just pop off, the arms just pop off, and just replace him like, change that head for something else.
Right, because we've all seen it before.
Don't even change the speech, just change the head, change the body. It's just,
change
why
the
not
wife.
Show your personality?
And it's like, because we keep asking, and we're not the only ones. There's a lot of people out there asking. He must hear these criticisms. It almost makes you wonder, maybe the only reason they're not showing us his personality is because maybe, he doesn't have one, or he's not comfortable, or I don't know.
He surrounded himself with what we call yes men.
They
don't have the balls to question him. Because, I say this to people all the time. I am the asshole you need in your life. I will say what needs to be said. And you know what? If you stop talking to me afterwards,
everybody needs
it's
that.
Fine. 100%. I love guys,
especially leaders, especially people with power, because the more power you get, the more people are going to be around you telling you exactly what you want to hear. All the very best leaders throughout history, they know they need that one or two people who will tell them exactly what they fucking think. And that's leadership. Nick says, I think it's a bit of an act with Anna. She's extremely involved with stopping human trafficking. They're trying to appeal to women with the whole family's value. Yeah, I think it's pretty typical. Bring the smiling wife. Yeah, bring the smiling wife thing.
But to me, that's not what it produced. When I see them in that video, I see them on Jasmine Lane's interview. It like she was talking over him, as in completing his own sentences. Like, you're not the one running for the party. When I look at this, I see, and I might be completely wrong. I do not know them personally. Let me be the first one to say that. But as somebody that creates content for a living and that guides others on how to create good content that resonates with their audience, I look at her and she strikes me as like an Instagram model that's dating somebody that has more followers than her, and she's trying to build up from him, like use his platform to kind of build herself up. This is what I see.
Did you
I
get
see
that?
somebody
Did you
that's
get that
way
vibe?
too involved.
I
100%.
mean,
100%.
honestly, maybe it's just subjective, but I kind of get the vibe like she's a little reluctant. Like I get the vibe she's, they're telling her to go in, go in there, go in the video, go to the photo op, and she sort of just wants to be a wife and not deal with the shit. But we don't know, right? We don't know these people. She could be. I don't know what the backstory is.
This is exactly, I agree with Bumpy Johnson on that
Bumpy
one. This
says
is how I see it too.
Little PP ain't much of a man. He's the type to let the woman wear the pants. It's certainly the vibe he gives off, and because he's not giving us,
and that's exactly my point.
And he's not giving us anything to point to come across otherwise. You almost have to go to it. Got some juicy tea here from Nick. Says, by the way, Pierre used to date Jenny before he got married. Well, that is interesting.
I thought, you know what? Thank you for saying
really,
this.
Eh?
Because,
oh,
well,
shit.
as I Googled
juicy.
her, hold on. Let me just show this, because this is fucking hilarious. Because I saw this as we were talking about it. I saw that picture and I Googled Jenny Barnes.
Okay.
And that's clearly, I'm like, that looks like Poilievre. That looks like her. Obviously, she's not kept up on her physical fitness, but I thought so. So thank you for saying this, because that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like,
but what I
is he kissing her?
That honestly, that might sort of explain a lot, because that now there's a clearly a personal history that might completely cloud the professional judgment. I mean, in my mind, if I'm in the Conservative Party, I'm like, you got to get this woman out of here, just because that's a huge conflict of interest. If they have that kind of a history, how can he tell her no? He clearly can't. What kind of sway does she have over him?
Barnes actually worked for what's his name? The last Conservative government. Why am I drawing a blank right now? What was the last that formed just before Trudeau? Harper. I believe that she worked on the Harper, because there's a bunch of pictures with him and Harper, and she's been a consultant forever. So that's probably where it comes from. That's probably where Poilievre dated. So it makes it all feel very incestuous, in my opinion. Very like professional. And that might be why people did not debate her until the election was done, that they just let it happen, because they knew behind the scene what the relationship is with Poilievre.
That strikes me as very unprofessional and not in the party's best interest or his best interest.
No, I agree.
Just take this. Bumpy says the greatest political betrayal in Canadian history was when Peter MacKay's fiance, a Conservative MP, walked the aisle to join the Liberals. I just want to bring that up because I remember that her name was Belinda Stronach, I believe. And,
Jesus.
Yeah. Hey, well, he's a big time Nova Scotia MP, and that's where I grew up.
Okay, that's why.
And yeah, they were both in the Conservative Party. And she walked the aisle during the relationship, and then he went back home to Nova Scotia, had a big photo op where he was looking all sad and my wife, my love left me to join the Liberals, and yeah, it was funny.
So it was all a big photo op.
Ford
endorsing Carney, basically.
Yeah, it's all nonsense. Okay, so I think I
got something I wanted to show you guys again.
Yep.
If we're good, because it's still on the, obviously the Conservatives have to be doing some type of damage control right now behind the scene, like they have to, or else they're fucking on crack. But that's another subject that was brought up on the Discord server yesterday. I don't remember who it was. I think it was Nick. Yeah, it's Nick that was talking about this, but it was announced yesterday that Andrew Scheer would become the new interim opposition leader while Pierre Poilievre runs for the Alberta, like in a by-election in Alberta. So here's a video just talking about this, and I have an interview that he did with CTV News yesterday. I shared this on the YouTube channel. It's kind of getting a lot of attention right now, but I just want to show it to you guys. Then I'll say what I have to say about it. But let's just watch this video just to give a bit of perspective to the people that are not following the Conservatives.
Former Conservative leader Andrew Scheer will serve as the interim opposition leader in the House of Commons.
The Conservative caucus making that decision yesterday after party leader Pierre Poilievre lost his re-election bid in his longtime held riding of Carleton.
No, I have not.
Poilievre plans to run in a by-election in Alberta, but for now can't serve as opposition leader in Parliament without a seat. Scheer telling CTV Power Play the caucus is united behind Poilievre.
We always recognize on behalf of the 8 million people who voted for change that we've got work to do to seal the deal next time and win and deliver that meaningful change for Canadians. But today we heard a lot of positive feedback, and the support for Pierre is evident. I think you're going to see that in the weeks and months to come, that we are united, focused. We're going to do that. We're ready to do that.
Poilievre is expected to seek a seat in Alberta, where MP-elect Damien Keurig has offered to resign to allow the party leader a chance to run in the by-election.
So this was just, you saw the low part taken from a much longer interview. Like I think it's 10, 15 minutes long. I have more of that interview. So just to show you that he is becoming the new interim opposition leader, while Pierre Poilievre is actually running for by-election. But this is the video I really wanted to show you guys.
Do you guys like Scheer? What do you think of that move? I assume he's just a placeholder, right? Because they're assuming Poilievre's going to win.
That's what it sounds like. They're kind of giving. It sounds like they're giving an opportunity for Pierre Poilievre to not have to focus on being the opposition, although Parliament is closed until I think it's April 28th, May 27th. I think it's closed. So let's just, let's see. Hold that thought. Hold that thought after you see this. Then we can speak about it, because I have a very, very strong opinion about this guy. So let's just show. This is a conversation that Andrew Scheer had yesterday with CTV News.
Build on that and win in the next election.
Doesn't that, though, again, with respect, Mr. Scheer, ignore the fact that your party lost? And doesn't it also assume that things will remain static, that Canadians will be as unhappy as they were with the Liberals over their 10-year record, that Mr. Carney will be as unpopular as Mr. Trudeau was? Aren't those very, unsafe assumptions to make?
Well, it sounds like you're the one making assumptions there, Vashti, and you know what happens when someone assumes things. We all recognize that we didn't win, and we all recognize that changes need to be made. There's no denying that, and you won't hear that from myself. You won't hear that from Pierre. You won't hear that from anybody involved in the campaign. Clearly, no one is suggesting, nor have I in this interview or in previous ones, suggesting that we can just copy and paste what we did this time, next time, and hope to win. What I'm saying is that we all recognize how we got from 34% in the last election to 42% in this election. And that was Pierre Poilievre. That was Pierre Poilievre's vision to develop a platform in consultation with caucus, based directly on the stories he's heard from individual Canadians who are suffering under the Liberal policies. He put that platform together. He put forward a communications plan to articulate what conservatism would do for hardworking Canadians. And that's what took us up to 42%. So
I just need to stop this, because he's so full of shit. This is not what took you to 42%. It's guys like you voting against the Liberal Party.
Oh, yeah.
And the only other option was either Maxime Bernier, which most people don't know about, or Pierre Poilievre. Don't give me this shit that he talked to guys like me that are real conservatives and talked to his base.
Yeah, I didn't see a whole lot of that.
No, it's just, that drives me absolutely nuts, because no, this is not Pierre Poilievre. This is the Liberal fucking up for 10 years and Liberal voters voting against the Liberal because they cannot reward 10 years of incompetence. But at the same time, if the Conservative continue being so liberal, all Carney needs to do is move a tiny bit to the right. Make a deal with the US, like you and I have been saying from the get-go. Make a deal with Alberta to keep them happy. And then the Conservative have nothing. They are just like the Liberals. So it's just time for them to admit that they need to be conservatives. But obviously, Scheer's not going down that route. But let's finish the video.
I'm kind of surprised
with
how how strong Poilievre's grip seems to be on the party. Like there's zero talk about I guess on some level, maybe that's a good sign that he's behind the scenes, maybe more effective than he comes off on the campaign trail, or it could be a type indicative of I don't know, sort of groupthink, or maybe, I don't want to say cult think because that's a little too strong, but certainly like group think where people just get this tunnel vision. And I guess, the other thing too is, I guess, who do you replace him with? I think that's the question that keeps coming up. I don't really see anyone. So I guess maybe in that sense, it makes sense, but there isn't really a sense of like, well, he's the best we got. They really seem like they're gung ho about this guy. And I don't know. I just, considering the way he lost the last election, like a week and a half ago, I don't know where all that confidence comes from.
So that's what my message is. We all recognize that Pierre got us to this point and that he is the one that can take us to the next level, get those missing 3, 4, 5% that we need. Now, if we are living in a new reality where the NDP have completely collapsed, we don't know what that means. We don't know where they'll go in the future.
Yep,
so no one is counting on a resurgence next time. We are dealing potentially with a new reality. We've got to figure that out. So one of the things that I'm confident is that we're going to take the time to do that, pour through the data, actually look at results and compare them to previous elections and see, okay, here's where we saw growth. Here's where we maybe missed an opportunity. How do we address that without losing the people that we've brought on board? That is going to take some time, but it's going to be done with people who have our party's best interests at heart, who have the best interests of Canadians at heart. And when we're finished that process, I'm very confident that Pierre is going to be able to chart the course in the next campaign that will finish the job.
But hold on. You know what he just said? Again, he's not acknowledging the fact that the massive amount of liberals that probably voted for him or voted for Pierre Poilievre is the difference. That 10% that he keeps on referring to, 10%, he's not acknowledging the fact that there's a lot of liberals that must have voted against the Liberal. They didn't vote for Pierre Poilievre.
No, exactly.
They voted against Carney because they don't want another 4 years of liberal bullshit. But they don't seem to be acknowledging it at all.
They seem to take a lot of credit for that. And I mean, that's I voted for Carney, Poilievre, but I certainly didn't feel like he really earned my vote. I didn't feel great about it. I just wanted to avoid another liberal government.
But that is, again, with respect, Mr. Scheer, making assumptions. It's making assumptions that the votes that you were able to win, that
she's calling his
growth,
shit
which
out.
you deserve credit for, is going to hold. I don't understand
exactly
how that assumption can stick when a whole lot, as we've seen in just the last few months, can change. And
so, what do you guys think about this? Because I don't know who that girl is. I don't. I cannot recognize like her by face. So I don't know what her name is, but I don't like the fact that Andrew Scheer has been brought on as the interim opposition leader, because that dude lost to Justin Trudeau. Then you had Aaron O'Toole that came in. He lost to Justin Trudeau. Then you have Pierre Poilievre lost to Carney. So we have a guy that's lost a federal election that's replacing another guy that just lost the federal election, and somehow this is a good thing. Like, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. When are the Conservative going to fucking learn that the reason they keep on losing is because they're not conservative enough? Not that fucking complicated.
Yeah, no, I think it would go down a lot easier, smoother if you saw some sense of like, okay, we know we fucked up, we know we did, we know we have to do better. But it seems like the vibe is, yeah, we did everything great, and we just luck of the draw. We just happened to get, and I don't know that that's the right lesson. I don't see any changes. Certainly, no public facing positions have changed, and I'd be surprised if even behind the scenes any advisors or any heads rolled. Because it seems like it's the entire same team. Now, that said, he will win. Almost certainly he'll win this seat in Alberta. It's literally the safest Conservative seat in the country. The question is, though, obviously you're not doing all this unless you're going to have Poilievre run in the next election. So the question is, how is he going to do that with the exact same team? Like, has he learned any lessons whatsoever? If I was a Conservative voter or in the Conservative Party, I would certainly want to ask those questions.
Bang on, bro. That's like, if you want to let's take some comments about this, and then
Yeah.
there's one more thing. And I see that Tenshi is here, and Tenshi, just so you know, the following subject is because of you, bros, because you brought it up yesterday. I'm like, oh, I knew about it, but I'm like, oh shit.
Well,
I guess there's interest.
We'll
so
take the comments, and then I got a clip I want to play, and then
cool.
we can go on.
Sounds good, man.
All right. Let me see. Where were we? Nick, I thought this was a good one. I think a lot of us have watched Pierre in the House of Commons see something different than on the campaign trail. I think it's why we want the party. And you know, full disclosure, I have not really seen him in the House of Commons, so fully aware that there may be something else that I'm not seeing. I only really started to pay attention during the campaign. So if he is some sort of legislative genius and he shows some strength there, yeah, I can understand that. I
Sure.
assume, yeah.
Sure.
I mean,
the personality to me has always been there. I've
Yeah.
always seen a problem with his personality. He's always rubbed me the wrong way, as in a weak leader. But I still had high hopes for him because in my head he had nothing to lose. Like, he could have went into that election with, or that campaign, just guns out, guns blazing, balls out, just let's fucking do this shit, because you're running against a party that's been fucking up for 10 years. What do you have to lose?
Yeah,
He chose not to do it. He ran as, I don't want to lose, and guess what happened? He lost.
Yeah, and that's usually what happens when you play not to lose. That sort of risk aversion. Robin says Vasi. So Vasi, I believe, is the blonde girl that you were saying she at least pushed back on him. Says she's an epic reporter. She puts everyone under the microscope, no holds barred. She seemed pretty good. Well, that wasn't CBC, was it?
No, that was CTV News.
Okay.
But at the same time, I was just I like the way, as much as I'm very aware that they would never do that to Carney. I get it. But I'm a lot harder on Pierre Poilievre than I am on Carney, because Pierre Poilievre is supposed to represent me. So this is who I'm going to call out, because I don't need to call out the liberals that much.
Well, yeah, exactly, right?
At my point, exactly. So I'm hard on him, not because I don't want him to do well. I want him to wake the fuck up. Like that dude, Pierre Poilievre, if you ever listen to one of our videos and you actually want to know how to reach a conservative crowd, reach out to me. I'll fucking teach you. That fat woman that you used to date that's taking care of your media right now, she's full of shit. She has no fucking clue what it is. Don't take a woman to do a man's job. If you're trying to reach men out there, don't fucking use a woman like Kamala Harris did in the US. Get a man that's a fucking real conservative, not a liberal with a fiscal sense. Sorry. And I'm not, this is not against women. It's just men chose Donald Trump last election. That's who they chose. And men needs to step up to the plate in Canada and say, there's a problem. It needs to be fucking addressed. And men are normally more conservative than women. That's a fucking fact. So
that's an interesting point. Have we seen the exit polls? Like what is the demographic?
Split men, women.
Yeah, is that what it is?
The only ones I've seen are on age, like demographic on age, but I haven't seen on sex. But I'm ready to, I guarantee you that even in the US and in Canada, we're seeing the 18 to 25 is the most conservative men or young men in generations. But it's not women. If you look at most of the woke crowd, they're feminine. Like, look at the feminist movement. They're not fucking conservative people, right? So at the same time, I don't need to see the result to know that I see it every day. Like, I interact with those people on a daily basis. Women are normally a lot more liberal than men are. It's just that in Canada, men are still very quiet about being conservatives. This is why I'm saying men needs to step up to the plate and just say, you know what? It's time for us to stop with that woke bullshit and become more conservative.
Yeah. Bumpy Johnson says the issue for the CPC is they did their best since 1984. Historically, the problem, the collapse of the NDP provided a fluke for the Libs, but is it a fluke? Will the NDP rebuild? That's a great comment. There's a lot of meat on that bone for sure. And I guess it does provide a bit of context, because you're right. I mean, they did their best historically. So you could say, you know, in some ways it was a success. Obviously, in the ways that matters, it wasn't. But I don't know. Will the NDP rebuild? I don't think they will either. What do you? I feel like the Liberals, or the NDPs who voted for the Liberals, are like, oh, hey, probably feels nice winning, because you never win if you're an NDP voter, and they might just stick around. Now that's probably bad for the country, because that means the Liberal Party will be pulled even further to the left, because they're going to try to hang on to these NDP voters. So yeah,
I don't think there's enough to sway them, to be honest with you. I don't think there's enough to sway the voters that voted Liberal, because they knew that the NDP, the NDP split the vote basically, right? Like in the last elections, because they were so far left. But if you just look the way Carney's going right now, he's moving more to the right. I'm not saying he's moving to actually the right. He's just moving right within the left spectrum.
Within the left, yeah.
Because the way he dealt with Trump, the way he wants to reestablish the connection with Trump, he wants to reestablish that bridge and have more of a conversation, like the video we showed yesterday. That's a conservative thing. Like, this is the conservative that should have done that, right? They should have said from the get-go, we will have to negotiate with Trump. We don't have the leverage, so let's be honest. Let's try to build that bridge with them and then become more self-reliant. That's a big thing that he's been preaching. So now that he's moving more to the right on how to deal with Trump, the next step to become more self-reliant, which I don't care who you are, you should always strive for your country to be the most self-reliant that it can, so that we are in control of our destiny, not dependent on, let's say for us, the US, because they still get 75% of our exports. But the point is that if he starts rebuilding that relationship with Trump, and then he starts giving self-reliance to Alberta, for example, builds a pipeline, what does the conservative have anymore? They don't have anything to differentiate themselves from the Liberals.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, Carney has the potential right now to literally destroy the Bloc, destroy the NDP, destroy the Green, destroy the PPC, and we'll end up with a two-party system that are pretty much fucking identical. Maybe that's what we need for the conservative to move. Maybe the Liberals going a bit more to the right is going to move that Overton window, where the conservative will feel comfortable enough to be more conservative. Maybe that's a given. I don't know. Maybe I've never thought about it this way until now, but maybe there's a silver lining to this.
I don't see Carney ideological in the way that, say, Trudeau was. I think he's more pragmatic. He'll go whichever way the party tells him to go.
He's smarter, as in he's not gonna get his emotion out of in the way like Trudeau did and say dumb shit. I don't see him doing the LGBTQ parade and sticking his tongue out and taking photos with dudes in dresses.
That's exactly what I mean. Yeah.
I think he's smart enough to maybe make an appearance from a car somewhere, or make a post, we support LGBTQ, but he'll make sure to tell everybody that he's in the US negotiating with Trump during the parade. That's why he wasn't there.
Yeah.
See, I think he's smart enough to deal with the media to kind of mold the opinion to his side. He's not stupid. As much as that dude scares the shit out of me, because he's very fucking smart.
Yeah. All right. So we'll probably pin that one there. I'm going to play one more clip, and then we'll get into the topic of the day.
Actually, no, I have one more, because Tenchi's there. I don't have a choice, but it's going to be fast.
Okay.
You can go.
Okay, I got you. Oh, you mean after this? I got you. So this is, I saw this yesterday, and I was like, oh, my sweet Jesus. You might have seen this on social media. It hit home for me just because I grew up in Nova Scotia, and this is the Nova Scotia RCMP. So the context here is 2 children are missing, right? 2 children are missing, presumed dead. And this is what the RCMP in Nova Scotia comes out with.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I am Corporal Carly McCann, Provincial Public Information Officer for the Nova Scotia RCMP. Thank you all for being here today. Bonjour, je suis la caporale Carly McCann, agent d'information publique pour la GRC en Nouvelle-Écosse. Merci de votre présence aujourd'hui. First, I acknowledge that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the traditional and unceded ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people. I also recognize histories, legacies, and contributions have enriched that part of Mi'kma'ki known as Nova Scotia for over 400 years.
Why?
I've got so many questions here. You got 2 children. You've got 2 children missing. Talk about getting your priorities. Like, this woke bullshit it's completely destroyed the trust that society is supposed to have in our authorities. Like, what are their priorities here? Are their priorities finding these fucking kids? Look, find the fucking kids.
Obviously not.
Find the kids, and then you can self-flagellate yourself however you want. Then you can white guilt yourself however you want. I don't understand it. And there's a lot of people like on social media, it's caused a bit of an uproar, but it just shows how insidious this ideology is, this identity politics. It's seeped into the RCMP, it's seeped into the government. Like, of course, it's in academia. We all knew that, but like now it's in all the institutions of society. And it boggles my mind. You have fucking kids missing out there, and you're more focused. What was even the point of the African Nova Scotian thing? Was it just to relieve them of the guilt? Because guilt's only for white people.
Obviously,
it's just.
But Rusty Wiener's bang on. How to tell everyone you've been blackmailed by activists without actually saying it.
I think it's worse. I think they genuinely believe it. I think it's the activists have gotten in the foxes have gotten in the hen house. I think the RCMP and government is the activists are in there now. It's just, oh my God. I saw that. I was like, for fuck's sakes, man, how the fuck did we get here? And you know, if you are a political orphan from the left side of it, like I am, that stuff just like that shit, that nonsense identity politics, that nonsense. That's probably one of the main reasons that drove you to become a political orphan. When you see that kind of shit, it's just, it's so counterproductive to what we're trying to do as a society.
What drove us here? The same guy that, do you remember this? Elbows up, motherfuckers. So this one is for Tenshi, by the way. You're the one that talked about this yesterday. I posted about it on social media this morning. Kanye West, Mike Myers, and more celebrities name drop during the Diddlers hearing. So Pete Diddy, I call him the Diddler because it's such a great fucking name for somebody that did what he did. But remember Mike Myers, Mr. Austin Powers, Mr. Elbows Up, the guy that recorded the Elbows Up videos with our Prime Minister, Mark Carney, the same guy that has links to Maxwell / Epstein, has now links to Myers that seems to have a link to the Diddler. Like, this is how fucked we are, bro. Like, this is how. So let's see what happened. He was just name dropped.
Yeah, I wonder if he brought that up. Yeah, I'll be in your commercial. Just so you know, I'm going to be in a trial for diddling kids here in a couple months. And Carney's like, yeah, it's all good. We all will be. We're all going to be. What was
their name? Trial. Maybe I know them.
Yeah.
Turns like his name was just dropped because supposedly it's about a joke that he made about Pete Diddy or the Diddlers. So. Okay. You know, people are trying to defend him. I'm like, yeah, okay, let me hear that joke first. I want to know what the joke is, because if it sounds like he has inside information, you know, a la Ellen DeGeneres.
Yep.
Like there's a few things that she said. Oh, you have the greatest of parties, Pete Diddy.
Do you remember the video with?
Oh, that's LeBron James. That said
LeBron.
That. Bro,
there's
no party like a Diddy party. He's not talking about the MTV Awards here.
No.
Let's be honest here. The smirk that he had on his face, he's talking about the private parties that Diddy's in trouble for right now.
Yeah.
So, Tenshi, that one's for you. You talked about it yesterday, and this is my type of shit. I love to talk about this shit. So, thank you for the inspiration.
Yeah, we'll just take a couple of these comments and then we'll get to the
jump right in an hour, 10 minutes. At least we shared like 5 fucking topics in 10 minutes. Virtual high five, bro. Virtual.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a record.
Yeah, yep. Pound it. And then because we did get a lot of topics, and obviously if it's a busier news day, maybe we only do 2 of those stories and we only take 20 minutes or so. So we'll just play it by ear. Sylvie says, imagine if you're the parents of those kids talking about the RCMP.
Oh, Jesus,
right?
Yeah.
Like, how can you trust that they're actually have their priorities to go out and find their kids when they're more worried about scoring woke virtue signaling points and actually finding your kid?
Because that's how you find your kids, right? You have to pray to the woke gods.
Right, exactly, right.
And find my kids.
It's basically a religion, right? They're doing a religious slogans and incantations, and that's exactly what they're doing.
As a Christian, I'm a bigot, right?
Yeah, all right.
Do you believe what's written in the Bible? How dare you, you dogmatic asshole?
Yeah, exactly.
You have
right?
to give us a speech.
You have to give the land
acknowledgement.
If how can you expect to get those kids back if you don't give a proper land acknowledgement and discuss how African Nova Scotians have been part of this community for 400 years? What fucking relevance does it have?
Let's just agree that they pray to a different god than I do.
Yeah. Well, me too. Yeah. Nick says, "What the fuck, RCAP? What is the relevance?" I guess the good news is they are getting absolutely dragged on social media, but just the fact that it's there in the first place.
Yeah, but we're probably sexist for saying that because that was.
Oh, of course we are. We're sexist, full of hate.
Hey, Rob,
transphobic.
Rob. What? Why do you hate women?
Why do I hate women? Yes, of course. Why do I hate women?
I haven't brought it up
and
in a while.
LGBTQ, fucking QSTP, LMNOP, whatever the fuck.
The alphabet people.
Yeah, the alphabet people. Bumpy says, my favorite LeBron James one was when he asked about reading Malcolm X's autobiography, and he seemed to believe Negro was a term of empowerment and not just an outdated term. Yeah.
Was that the same one as he had a different, like a magazine stuck in the middle, or he was actually reading it upside down, if I'm not mistaken?
Oh,
he was talking about the book, and I'm pretty sure that's the clip. He's talking about a book and he's holding it upside down. It's like I'm a big fan of Ben Stiller, at least not politically, because Jesus, after the last election. But what's the movie? The movie where they're playing dodgeball. One of my favorite movies of all. I fucking loved. You know when he comes down the stairs and he's reading the dictionary, but it's upside down? That was his LeBron James movement right there.
Yeah, that's true. Right?
Fucking idiot.
Joe Stradamus says, remember, the left is not incompetent. They're complicit. You have to work really hard to alienate people on this scale. Yeah, that's right. And Joe, when I posted that on my X account, you'd made a comment about that. And I thought that was pretty good. Like, yeah, I mean, like I've said before in this show, I do tend to give people the benefit of the doubt often and think, okay, this maybe was well-intentioned, but I'm past that now. There's no way you can see this as well-intentioned. This is intentional. They understand the social division that's causing, and they, for whatever reason, they want that. They like that.
They're not stupid.
Not stupid. I mean, what does Jason always say? I'm not questioning your intelligence. I'm questioning your integrity.
This is funny.
Every time
LeBron is reading a book, he's on the first page.
That is funny.
I am not a fan of LeBron James. Oh, he's such a faker. Even the way he plays basketball, he's such a twat. Like he listens to too much soccer, and then he implemented their moves into the NBA. Now we're a bunch of
diving, eh?
Oh, there's so many videos of him. He's not even getting touched, and he's on the ground faking flopping. Oh yeah, his knees just bust. Oh yeah, fuck off. Okay. End of rant on Mr. LeBron James.
Yeah, he I mean, I'm not big enough basketball fan to comment, but to me I mean, Michael Jordan's the GOAT. I don't think I do respect LeBron, what he's done, the numbers he's put up, but it's a different game. I don't think I don't think he'd do nearly as well if he played when Jordan played.
Especially not if they wouldn't call all the bullshit calls that he gets every single game.
Right? Yeah.
Because back in the days, man, back in Michael Jordan,
they didn't do that for Jordan.
76ers with the Iverson. If you showed up in the key there, you were getting elbowed, you were getting thrown. Somebody might punch you. Philly would punch you if they thought the ref's not looking. Boom. There's
they were gangsters, man.
Oh, bro. Jordan had, instead of complaining like a little bitch, he went to the gym with his trainer. I can't remember what his name is. Fuck, he's written great books about them. But he went with he put size up. He's like, you know what? People are manhandling me. I'm going to get bigger. He didn't complain like a little bitch. That's why I love or hate Michael Jordan. You got to respect the dude for being the GOAT by far.
Oh, yeah. To me, yeah, as you said, no question.
So that's it, man. That's those are the topics we had. An hour, 15 minutes. That's not bad. That is not bad.
No, especially considering how many we got. And again, it was a pretty slow news day. If there's more bigger topics, we'll cut that down to a half hour or 20 minutes. But yeah, it's just a way to inject some variety into the show. and then we will get to the main event.
The more Joe talks, the more I agree with him. Braun the flopper. You know, I call him La Queen, like La Queen James, because they want to be. He wants to be called a king, but he's a fucking
James.
queen.
King
Yeah,
James.
La Queen James. Yeah, big twat.
Oh yeah, you love that word.
Well, yeah, because my wife fucking hates the cunt word. I love cunt. My wife hates it, so I try not. See your reaction. But you know what I like about that word?
I just like it's one of the only words that stops people in their tracks, even still.
But you know,
right?
Even more, you don't even need to understand English to know that it's bad. I don't care which language you speak or understand. If I look at you and you're like, you're a fucking cunt, you know that was not a compliment.
Yeah,
but I'll settle for twat. It's not like. And cunt, you need to say it with like conviction. Like you're not just like you're such a cunt. No,
oh no,
you got fucking cunt.
Yeah, you got to put some backbone into it for sure.
Sorry for the ladies on the show. I am not calling you guys a cunt, but I am calling LeBron James, La Queen James, one of them. I see exactly.
Robin, yeah. She says, "Hate that word." My hubby is not allowed to use that word. Yeah, it does. I think most of the men with wives.
I've never heard of women. One single woman told me that's such a great word. I've never heard one single guy tell me, "Oh, that's such a terrible word." We all like to use it.
Yeah. It's you got to use it sparingly because it definitely has some. It packs a punch even still. But that's what I like about it.
So right, Nick is right about this.
That Australia too. The UK. Australia too. It's
like just a regular.
No big deal.
Just yep, 100%. You're absolutely right.
All right. Should we move on to the main topic of the day?
Main topic of the day, as it indicated at the bottom. Canada's not for sale. Okay, Donald Trump. That's basically the message that our mainstream media in Canada and even in the US and even the BBC is selling right now. They're telling us like Carney stood up to that monster of a Trump and he did his job. That is why Canadians elected him, for him to be fair, for him to stand up, for him to be controlled in his emotion and do what needs to get done. Show Trump what Canada is really about. And, you know, before I give my opinion on this, which I don't think I need to give it, I think it's pretty fucking clear how I feel about this. I want to kind of prove my point because there's a great CTV video that I saw that kind of proves my point. I want to also show you what Google is saying. Just like if you ever want to know what people are thinking, just Google it. Literally Google it and look at the top. What's being pushed by the algorithm? Mm-hmm. It's absolute insanity. So here is the video I want to open with. There's great video. Man, I absolutely love this guy, by the way. You follow him too because you reposted some of his stuff. govt.exe is corrupt. I really like that guy. He is one of the wittiest guy on X. Like some of the shit that he says, I'm like, bro, the words, like I agree with him and I've said similar stuff, but the way he phrases them, he's fucking awesome. And if you post on his shit, he actually answers. Like him and I've had conversation. Like seems like a super nice guy. At least I'm calling him a guy. Man, it would blow my mind if it's a woman. It would make it sweeter somehow. But here's the video I wanted to share. This is CTV News claims that Carney emerged victorious in yesterday's meeting with Trump. So this is the media. This is what media is pushing us right now.
All right, I want to bring in CTV's political commentator, Scott Reed. What was your takeaway from the meeting yesterday in the Oval and beyond?
Clearly passed the first test. Everyone says, oh, well, he's going to be sitting down next to the president. Will the president go off like a rocket? Will he reach over and try to physically dominate him? Will he be respectful? Will he ramble and wander off like he did? But by and large, look, as odd and as strange as this setting was, it was a respectful encounter. Mark Carney was confronted with the question of the 51st state, handled it really cleverly. President decided turn that into a confrontation. And so there you have it. Now we're into a world of engagement. This first date has been passed. And, what a weird first date it must have been for Mark Carney.
Yeah. And despite, the fact that they sat there for, I think, almost a half an hour before Carney was really meaningfully brought into the conversation, it was Carney who really got the line of the day by telling Trump, Canada is not for sale. There's some pieces of real estate, Donald, that, Mr. President, that are not for sale, and Canada's not one of them. So, all right, I want to bring...
So
I
this
feel like
is what
the
I
line...
wanted.
Yeah, go ahead.
But what I wanted to brought up is exactly how they finished it. So Canada's not for sale. You see that everywhere right now. Like if you Google, like I'm going to do it. Like I'm going to do it live for you guys just to show you that I'm not full of shit and it's not one of those, he found it somewhere. No, see, we're going to do it live. Canada, see, as you can see, I've done it before. Canada is not for sale. It does not matter which you're talking political, that's American, CTV News, that's obviously Canadian, BBC, that's over in the UK. You have The Guardian. Everybody's saying Canada is not for sale. Canada is not for sale. Canada's not for sale. Canada's not for sale.
That shows how the media narrative works. They all sort of agree on what they're going to focus on, and they hit it again and again and again and again.
And they make it sound like he stood up to Trump. Like really, Trump said that he wanted Canada as the 51st state, and Carney almost stood up, like removed this Clark Kent uniform, and he was Superman underneath it. And he told Trump, you know what, Trump, Canada's not for
it's
sale.
not for sale.
Not for sale. He put his big boy pants on and not for sale. So this is the image that we're being sold. This is what the media is saying all over the world. So this morning, what I did is, because I tend to do a lot of research. So what I did is, you know what? Because I only saw some of the clippets, right? I was like, when I saw the first interview, it didn't even hit me. Like I didn't really get that Carney has said that to him because it was so bullshit.
Yeah.
That I'm like, oh, actually, they have a pretty civil conversation, if you ask me. Like, I've seen some people. I'm going to show you a video, and it's hilarious because if you look at the original place that I took it from on YouTube, people are like, "Hey, is this clickbait?" Because it's literally saying Carney stood up to Trump. People in the comments are like, can I understand where can you give me like the time as to where I'm supposed to look right now? Because this, I'm not seeing it. Is this just clickbait? Like, what the fuck? Nobody could find the actual moment where it was impactful. So here's the video that they're talking about, Canada's not for sale. This is where it's taken from. Tell me how awesome Carney was.
Mr. President, you have said that Canada should become the 51st state.
No. Well, I still believe that, but it takes two to tango, right? But no, I do. I mean, I believe it would be a massive tax cut for the Canadian citizens. You get free military, you get tremendous medical cares and other things. There would be a lot of advantages, but it would be a massive tax cut. And it's also a beautiful, as a real estate developer, I'm a real estate developer at heart. When you get rid of that artificially drawn line, somebody drew that line many years ago with like a ruler, just a straight line right across the top of the country. When you look at that beautiful formation when it's together, I'm a very artistic person. But when I looked at that beauty, I said, that's the way it was meant to be. But, it's...
Trump being a troll, right?
It's much better for Canada. But we're not going to be discussing that unless somebody wants to discuss it. I think that there are tremendous benefits to the Canadian citizens, tremendously lower taxes, free military, which honestly we give you essentially anyway because we're protecting Canada if you ever had a problem. But I think it would really be a wonderful marriage because it's two places that get along very well. They like each other a lot.
Well, if I may. As you know from real estate, there are some places that are never.
He focus groups that line.
Hold on, because this is the most impactful place of the whole video. This is what they're all talking about.
They're fawning over him for it. Okay.
This is the part where Carney won the interaction with Trump. The whole meeting, he won it. He's victorious, and he represented Canada right here.
As you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now, Buckingham Palace that you visited as well.
That's true.
Having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever. But the opportunity is in the partnership and what we can build together. And we have done that in the past. And part of that, as the president just said, is with respect to our own security. And my government is committed for a step change in our investment in Canadian security and our partnership. And I'll say this as well, that the president has revitalized international security, revitalized NATO, and us playing our full weight in NATO, and that will be part of it.
So this was it. This is what the reporters, the news, the journalists are saying, that Carney stood up to Trump. He literally just said that some places are not for sale, just like Buckingham Palace. Why are we talking about Buckingham Palace? That was a great point.
I don't know why he.
The White House.
I don't know why he brought that up.
Did you hear the owners of Canada? I spoke to the owners of Canada, and Canada's not for sale. So King Charles told you that we're not for sale? Is that what we're
is that what he meant? Because when I heard that, I mean, full disclosure, just because I always try to be fair. When I heard that, I thought he just meant the people he talked to in Canada as he went across doing the campaign. That's what I took from it. But then the fact that he added Buckingham Palace, I guess, kind of does suggest maybe he meant. I don't know why the fuck he brought that up. Why would you not say, because he said some things are not for sale, like the White House? Okay, you're sitting in it.
Great example. You're there.
Yeah, why not say the House of Commons in Canada, right? Why Buckingham fucking Palace? I don't. It's nonsense.
You see it almost
implies that Canada is for sale, like, because he just mentioned a place in America and a place in England. Never mentioned nothing in Canada, so maybe it is for sale. This fucking guy. There's no way you can read that and think that was the line of the day and think he won with that. He was timid, he was shy, and I mean, fuck, man. It just, to me, the line, it's just classic media, like, fawning over the performative nonsense while ignoring the substance. To me, the line of the day, if you're looking at substance, is when Trump said tariffs are staying on and we don't want your shit. We don't want your cars. We don't want your aluminum. Now, that's not it. When I say the line of the day, that doesn't mean that it's the line that I liked. I don't like that as a Canadian, but that's the most important line of the day. That's the takeaway, because that is the stuff that matters, right? The fact that he got a zinger in isn't like, and it wasn't even a real zinger. But if you want to, even if, let's say, for the sake of argument, let's say it was a real fucking a zinger, and everyone was like,
sure.
But even still, it doesn't. Fucking Joe Rogan when he watches a knockout.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, good.
But like, none of that matters, because what matters is the fucking tariffs. That's the tangible thing that's affecting our relationship. And he said, sorry about your luck. Can't do nothing. Tariffs are staying. That's the fucking line of the day.
But you're absolutely right. This is, as much as I don't like what Trump was saying, this was impactful, because you're literally telling a guy, by not even looking at him, by answering questions from journalists, the tariffs are not coming down. Like, he should have just looked at him and tapped him on the shoulder, a la Prince of Saudi Arabia, what he did to him, and just say, you know what, bro? They're not coming down. And Carney just stood there like a moron and didn't say anything. You know the point that you guys made yesterday about how 50% of the car parts that we use in Canada to build cars come from the US? He could have been, that would have been a zinger. Hey, Mr. President, by the way, you do realize that 50% of the car parts that we actually use to build our cars come from the US. So technically, you're buying US made products.
Yeah.
That would have been like, Joe Rogan going, yes, that would have been great. But no, he's like, hey, is it my time yet?
And you could tell that line was fucking focus grouped. They had a bunch of consultants,
and he didn't even say it properly. He didn't even have the balls to say Canada is not for sale. You know, Mr. Trump, just like the White House, just like Buckingham Palace, there's places that are not for sale. And some part of Canada are not. Like, no,
Yeah,
fuck off.
I won't mention any of those parts. I'll mention a place in England and a place in America. But trust me, I mean Canada. We got.
But I spoke to the owners of Canada. Canada is not for sale.
Yeah, exactly right. So, and Sasquatch says, I think he believes King Charles is the owner of Canada. Yeah, I mean,
he is, but he technically
I guess. I mean, not in any real, but yeah. And Rusty Wiener says, ambiguous language
Thanks
leaves
for
room for
watching. Stay
interpretation.
updated about breaking news
And
top
I
stories.
think you're right there. I think I think that's why, because if he could have just said, I talked to the people of Canada and avoided all this nonsense, right? So the fact that he made it intentionally vague it does certainly suggest that he did have some other interpretation than just the people of Canada. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't understand any of it. I'm just a fucking Yahoo sitting in my living room trying to make sense of it. But I don't get why that's the line of the day. Well, actually, I do get it, because the media.
That's all he said.
The media, they were like, okay, we got to fix the line of the day from the few things that Carney says, and that's what they had. That was the big zinger.
And you know what? That was the only time he didn't have Trump's dick in his mouth. Like, literally everything else that he said to Trump is like, oh, you're doing such a great job. Thanks for the security. Thanks for taking care of fentanyl. Thanks for being so like
leadership.
And then Trump is like almost turning his back. He's like, you know what, guys? We're fucking keeping the tariff. Fuck this guy. He's not even looking at him. Like, that's all they got. That's the best they got. And somehow, if you notice, when they actually talk about the zinger, they don't show the video. Like the video.
Oh, that's true.
They don't show the zinger because it's not a
zinger.
fucking zinger. And they know that people will not watch a 5-minute long video of Trump talking. If you have TDS, you can't fucking listen to this guy for 5 minutes. I don't have TDS, and it's hard for me to listen to him for 5 minutes. So you believe what the headlines is telling you. And if political CTV News and the BBC are saying that Carney won this exchange, hey, he must have. Do you have the picture you showed me this morning on WhatsApp? Because I saw it too, and it's just like, really? This is where we're at now. You know what? Hold on. Let me share this if you want.
Yeah, bring it up.
No, but I'm gonna find it because this is something I wanted to show. It's not only mainstream media, but this is all I did. I typed in Carney. That's it. That's all I did, right? And people are praising him. Oh, this is the one, right?
Yeah, there it is.
This is the one you were talking
Carney
about.
won, Trump 0. Like,
Journal de Montréal, Montreal Journal is saying Carney 1, Trump 0.
It's just it's nonsense, man. He didn't win. There's no scenario where he won that. If you really wanted to, like, you could maybe say, well, they were super friendly, so it was a tie. I wouldn't buy that either, but like, at least you wouldn't, like, to say he won. It just shows that they're honestly, they don't even, as Joe Stradamus said, they don't even believe this shit. They just they have the marching orders. They know the narrative has to be pushed.
Yeah.
They knew the line of the day was going to come from Carney, and they just picked whatever they thought was the best one.
Liberal MAGAs. I hope this is a new term because I keep on calling the liberals. I said it in a video yesterday where liberals, you're going to have to start wearing your MAGA hats. Liberal MAGAs. I fucking love it. This is another term like twat,
that would drive
liberal MAGAs, and
They'll-
honeydicked.
Yeah.
Those are my 3 terms of the week right now.
That would drive
Love
them nuts.
it. Yeah, but oh man, this is fucking awesome. Because this morning when I was looking, it was a lot. Oh, see, that's another one that fucking makes me laugh. Carney spoke for 3 minutes and 18 seconds. Trump spoke for 29 minutes, 47 seconds. But I think they need another breakdown. How long did Carney speak without praising Trump? And that's probably 15 seconds. And that's the zinger we just watched, right? Oh!
And he begged for permission to even say it. Mr. President, if I may. Nope, you may not.
This is the second one. So did you notice, like, Trump always does that, right? He's always doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Carney copied him. Like, if you understand NLP, when they first met, they shook their hands. They're friends. They know each other. That was fucking clear from when they met. he leaned in. Like you look at Carney, he leaned in. That means he's connected psychologically with Trump. Now he's imitating him. Look, that's a Trump thing. I had never seen Carney do it, and he's not doing it like straight wrist, like when you're punching. He's doing it like a bit gay because he doesn't know what he's doing. Look how their wrists are broken. Like, it's not a fight or fist. Like we do this sometimes, but no, this is like, hey. But he copies Trump here, and look at this picture. He does it again. Like,
yeah, I mean that's true. I mean, if you're
even his thumbs up looks like he's doing anal. Look, he's like, hey. It's not even.
I don't.
Sorry, guys.
I don't know how. I don't know how they with a straight face try to say, "Fucking Carney 1, Trump 0." That's so ridiculous.
And you know what? Hold on. Where is it? Jason saying, "Oh my God, this is a Trump nut swing session." Actually, it's not. It really isn't. It's not about Trump. It's about how weak our leader is. Like they're selling the idea that Trump was dominated by Carney, yet nothing. The biggest thing they had is that tiny zinger that literally, unless you pointed it out to me, I wouldn't have even noticed.
No one perceived that was not a zinger. No one perceived that as a zinger at the moment. And as we talked about on the show with Jason yesterday, like, you know, just to give some fairness out there, no doubt it's got to be intimidating to go to the fucking White House knowing the history in ways that have nothing to do with Donald Trump. Just the history of it, the men who have sat in that room. And then, of course, you've got a sort of bulldog bully type right there. It's got to be intimidating, no doubt. But you ran on this. You ran on being the guy, the elbows up guy. And you weren't that guy. You were not that guy. And the media trying to fucking piss down our neck and tell us it's raining by telling us he was that guy. It's just, you know, they wonder why people have no faith in them. They wonder why people have lost trust in the media. And that is a bipartisan thing. There's most people on the left who are common sense also understand that the media cannot be trusted. Pretty much everyone on the right already knows that.
Hey, listen, I just saw this. This is fucking brilliant. Rusty Wiener
People like
saying,
mushrooms.
Media relations 101. People are like mushrooms. Feed them shit and keep them in the dark. Goddamn, bro. That is... It's hard for me to take you seriously with that picture as your profile picture. But goddamn, bro. That is some Joe Stradamus shit right there.
Yeah.
With more swears. I
Yeah.
think that's the difference between conservatives and lefties. Joe Stradamus is sounds more like an intellectual than I do. I swear way too much to sound like an intellectual. But this is a Joe Stradamus type of line there.
So what's your education level, if you don't mind asking, or what's your career? I think you're retired now, right? What did you do for a career?
You know, he's going to give you that answer.
He was a hair model. Yeah, he was a hair model in Pantene Pro V commercials. Just flowing locks. Yeah, he was on the model in those romance novels. He was on the back of the horses with the flowing hair.
And he plays guitar on top of that, so you know that.
Just the panties were flying off in all directions.
Probably. So you want to take some of those comments that we have there, because we have a bunch, right?
Yeah, we'll go back here and take
unless something extremely brilliant a la Joe Stradamus or
something that I did see. I meant to mention, but I didn't want to cut you off. Apparently, the white smoke at the Vatican is out there. I think it was Robin. Was it you that mentioned that? So that means there is a new pope. What
that doesn't mean there's a new pope. They chose it. Like they chose it. I don't think it's been announced though.
No, yeah, correct. Okay. I think it means it's been picked, and then there'll be a ceremony tonight or something. It's gonna be that guy from Eurotrip come out with his fucking...
That is every time I hear about this now. But hold on, or
that's such a good movie.
It could be like Robin is saying. Robin posted that on the Discord server.
Yeah, that's too funny.
Nothing to worry. Snoop Dogg is in the fucking house.
There was a he must have been an African cardinal. He was because he was a black guy. But there was a quote that I saw from him, and actually I think it was Billboard Chris had posted it and said this man needs to be the next pope. And he was saying something that was pretty. I'll see if I can find it here, but it was pretty like I'm not Catholic. I mean, I'm not even a Christian. But when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I agree with what Chris is saying there, because he was really just talking about how like the West needs to stop basically being simps for the rest of the world and needs to start standing up for its values and start like I said, I'm not a Christian, but I do recognize that our society was founded on, Judeo-Christian values. And that doesn't mean that there isn't space or place for other cultures, other values. Of course there are. But we don't need to be ashamed of that. We should be allowed to be. It's like everyone else is allowed to be proud of their culture except for us. And I really think we need to push back really strongly on that.
A white guy from fucking the US has been chosen as the new pope.
Oh, really?
So this shit is going to continue.
An American, it's not going.
Yep.
Which one?
Well, this is what CBC is reporting, updated 4 minutes ago. It says that a guy by the name of Robert Prévost, not a Frenchie on top of that. Hopefully he's not a Frenchie, because he's going to try to separate. It seems that a guy called Robert Prévost has been elected. Oh no, hold on. Cardinal elected, a U.S. cardinal, to lead the Catholic Church.
I don't. Where's he? Where was he the bishop for? Because usually they're a bishop, like bishop of Boston or bishop of New York or whatnot.
Bro, this is brand new, man.
Just came out,
Just came out like 4 minutes ago. So there's not a lot of information. I'm trying to see, because I think I saw the black guy you were talking about, the African.
Yeah, well, I'll remove that there. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to.
I don't know, bro. This is breaking news. I need a button.
Yeah. So this is the image that I saw.
Yes.
So he says, at the root of the collapse of the West, there's a cultural identity crisis. The West no longer knows who it is, because it no longer knows and does not want to know who made it, who established it, as it was and as it is. Many countries today do not know their history. This self-suffocation naturally leads to a decadence that paves the way for new barbarian civilizations. I have never heard of this guy before. I am not Catholic. I'm not even Christian. And I read that. I was like, I like that guy. That's exactly the kind of attitude that needs to be in. I like I said, I'm not Catholic, but I do recognize that the Pope has a lot of power. And so it's a relevant office for sure. And I think to have someone like that would go a long way towards pushing back. I think he absolutely nailed it right here with this diagnosis.
He's called Robert Serra, and he's an Orthodox, not bishop. He's a cardinal, obviously. But yeah, he's, I like what he said there. And, a lot of people don't like, they do not like Andrew Tate, but that's one thing that he said years ago. And as a Christian, I'm not a fan of Andrew Tate by any stretch of the imagination, but he did say something that was absolutely true, where Christians don't stand up for anything anymore. Like, this is one of my biggest problems that I have with the Christian church, is that they don't have the balls to talk about the real issues, to a point where we have Christians church led by LGBTQ members. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, seriously?
Yeah.
Absolutely fucking not. It is
nonsense.
The Bible is very clear that women shouldn't even lead as pastors. So forget the part, like, it's one after the other, and all those rules have been broken, and Christians are just like, oh yeah, okay.
And it's like, to be clear, I think it was appropriate for the church to sort of move away from a lot of the condemnation and persecution of people who, may be gay or live a different lifestyle, and more maybe go the hate the sin, love the sinner aspect kind of thing. I think that was definitely appropriate.
That's what you're supposed to do. But that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. But you also don't need to make them like priests.
There, you're supposed to be like Jesus Christ, which is love everybody. That doesn't mean that you excuse what they do. You're supposed to tell them that
you certainly don't need to give them,
but that doesn't mean
positions in the church, for sure.
But you're not supposed to hate them.
Yeah.
So there's a very fine line between, I accept who you are and I still love you, but the way you're living your life is wrong, and I'll make you a leader in my church. Like, what the fuck are you guys smoking? So the only thing I would say is that Andrew Tate was right about that, and so is what's his name? Sarah. What was his name? Robert Sarah.
Robert
is
Sarah,
he's bang on because we have lost our identity as Christians. I'm not a fan of Catholics either. I don't like the dogma. I don't like the fact that they tell me that I need to have a third party between me and God. I have a personal relationship with my God. I don't need a pastor to tell me, a pastor that can't marry, that can't have kids, to tell me how life works. Fuck off, move out of the way. I can talk to God directly. But at the same time, we need more guys that are ready to stand up for what Christianity was based on. And we've lost our identity under a pope. Like, what was the last one? Not Benedict, but
you mean the most recent one? That's Francis.
Yeah, Francis. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep, it is Francis. So, like, Francis had almost strippers on stage with him dancing as he's just there. Like, are you fucking kidding me, bruh? Like, Jesus.
It seems like there's just a ton of turnover in popes. Like, I remember for most of my life up till I was like 25, there was that one pope. I think it was John Paul. Yeah, the second. He was quite popular, but he was pope for a very long time. And then it's just pope after pope after pope after pope.
Yep.
But even as someone who is not,
they need to stop taking, like, wise guys saying, old farts. Yeah, maybe they need to stop taking old farts and get somebody that's gonna last more than 5 years.
Yeah, no doubt, eh? Sasquatch says Carney, and just going back to Carney because I thought it was an interesting comment. Carney's going to see 63's hostile media. Yeah. That's something that, you know, for any listeners who aren't sure, C-63 is the hate speech bill, of course. What it actually is an anti-free speech bill. Man, if Carney tries to pick that back up again, and he has certainly said things that suggest he will, like when he talks about, you know, American social media networks that are full of racism and hate and blah, blah, blah. I can tell you right now, this show is going to push back real hard against that. I don't know. I would go as far as make actual, you know, purposely say things I know are against this law and sort of dare them to come after me.
I've been doing it for 4 years, bro. There you go. Fuck you all. I don't give a fuck. I've been banned so many times I can't fucking even count. Fuck you. But
yeah, because I think that's real.
You guys, have you seen this?
Real scary. No. What is it?
It's been released like almost a year ago. But if you want to understand how dangerous Bill C-63 is, go check out this episode. Just Google literally Bill C-63 Jordan Peterson. You can Google Jordan Peterson. It still comes up. But he talks to lawyer Bruce Pardy, which is a guy from Canada. He's very known. We should definitely have that guy on.
Well, but that'd be amazing. Especially if they start to bring it back up.
But he talks about Bill C-63. That podcast would blow your mind. Like, he goes into detail as to what's the meaning. Literally up to 20 years in prison for a hate speech that can be declared by anybody that heard something that you said. Could be a word, it could be a sentence in real life, it could be a post that he saw online on your profile, but he can snitch you to the government and you will never face your accuser. He will stay anonymous. He will make, I think, 10 grand for reporting you. And on top of that, you face up to 20 years in jail. It's absolutely insane. But that guy breaks it down. If you're not familiar with Bill C-63, watch this video. It will blow your fucking mind.
Yeah, I haven't seen that video. I'd like to see that.
You should. Like, the first 45 minutes or so is with him. He has another guest. But man, that dude I was looking at it a year ago. I'm like, what the fuck am I listening to here?
It's that bad, eh? I mean, I knew it was real bad, but.
Well, imagine what's going on in the UK right now. On steroids.
Yeah, and that's scary. That's real scary what's going on in the UK.
Because just a guy, I speak against all of this shit, right? So I would be a prime target for them, but just you that talks about that drew the line as in leave the kids alone.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what your main message is on X. Just leave the kids alone.
Yep.
As an adult, you want to do all the surgeries you want.
Wear a dress, cut your dick off, fill your boots, man.
But leave the kids alone, right?
Yeah.
That is hate speech, bro.
Wild.
Just you would get in a massive amount of trouble for talking the way that you do. So yeah, it's It's very, very
that is a hill worth dying on for sure.
100%.
One thing that, because you see all the time now. There's always on X. I'll see every day or two. There's a video of 4 or 5 cops showing up at some old lady's house at 2 a.m. knocking on the door.
UK?
Yeah, either telling her she's got to delete a social media post or to come down to the station right away. She's being arrested. And there are people who are in jail. There's a mother, I forget her name, but she got sentenced to almost 2 years in prison for saying something along the lines of, "I don't want my tax dollars going to foreigners who are raping people." It's like, who the fuck does? Who wants their tax dollars to go to people who don't belong here, who are raping people? But she got sent. I think they're all pleading guilty because they're probably scaring the shit out of them. They're saying, if you go to trial and you lose, you'll get 10 years or 20 years. And so they take 2 years. But I don't know, man. I feel like it'd be real hard to get 12 people to convict someone on that. I think all you got to do is convince one that that's not hate speech. Because Tommy Robinson's a great example. What did he do?
That's why I brought him up, right?
All he did was show a video talking about the Pakistani rape gang.
Rape gangs. Yep.
Yeah, and all he did was just spit facts, and they were uncomfortable facts. They were facts that went against the narrative, and now he's in jail. And it's
18 months. That's what I was just looking for. I believe that he just lost his appeal, almost 3 weeks ago. He lost his appeal.
Terrifying.
Well, the thing is that unless you're ready to get arrested for this, that there's a bunch of us that stand up. So let's say that he brings that back. Let's say that he's not going to bring Bill C-63 because it died in Parliament because it's been closed for too long. They would need to redo another one. But that doesn't mean he won't, right? He's been clear in the video that you and I both posted, where he's talking against Twitter. He's not saying Twitter, but he's basically insinuating Twitter and saying how it's dangerous. There's a bunch of criminals on there, that it needs to be addressed and banned in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
This is scary, bro. This is scary, but that means that if something happens, I will never stop talking about this shit. I'll die on that hill. No questions about it. But more people need to be ready to do this. We need to have, if that happens, we need to have a Freedom Trucker 2.0 that is just about free speech. That is, again, number one fucking right that we have is free speech. Number one.
Everything flows from that.
Right. Exactly. Number one, right there. Number one. This is non-partisan. This is something that every side of the equation should agree on. Free speech, first and foremost. And we need to fight for free speech. We don't have it in Canada, but at least we don't have a Bill C-63. Because if that becomes the case, we need to fight that war. We don't have a choice, bro.
I agree. It's a hill worth dying on for sure. And as Jason says here, wait, hold on. Where was it? Fuck. It was the part where yes, here it is. He says, in Canada, hate speech is a thing, but in the USA, it is protected. Hate crimes, however, are not. Yeah, and I think hate crimes should not be protected, but we need to be very careful with what we're defining as hate crimes, because some of these new bills are defining, if someone's offended by something you say, that is a hate crime, and that's where it gets real scary. Now, if you're talking, if someone's going out driving around looking for black people or gay people or something just to kick the shit out of them, that is a hate crime, and that should be punished severely. And I think most people would agree with that. But
especially if they're black gay people.
Yeah, it's double hate crime. But if you're just offending someone should never be a crime, ever, not ever. Let society can police itself with regards to that. We do not need the government putting people in jail for offensive speech. I just think that that's such a slippery slope, and we're gonna go into a real scary place if we go down that road.
Agreed. We completely agree, bro.
All right, let me I'll go back and get a couple of these comments here. All right, they're talking about the old farts. I want to talk about the Pope here. Apparently he's a guy from Chicago. is what Robin is saying. Yes, he's the Pope.
So
is,
the one I showed earlier was accurate. This is right.
Yeah, Pope Leo. He apparently he's already spoken, so he's taken the name Pope Leo. The Pope is Peruvian from Chicago, a progressive centrist. So
the fuck is a progressive centrist? That should not be.
Yeah.
I don't think you can put progressive and centrist in the same sentence. You
yeah,
can.
I agree with that. I think I think it's a very ambiguous label, and maybe that's why he goes for it.
Hold on. A progressive centrist is a political ideology that combines progressive values with a centrist approach to policymaking. Progressive values often center on social justice, equality, and government intervention to address societal problems. Centrists, on the other hand, favor gradual change, moderation, and often a pragmatic approach to policy as opposed to radical or extreme measures. One goes against the other. Centrists or libertarians, they want small governments. They want people to be fucking left alone. And now you're telling me that social justice, equality, and government intervention. You can't have both. That doesn't.
I'd have to see it in action. Like you'd have to tell me what this guy actually believes in, like specific policies and whatnot.
LeBron James' approach to basketball is progressive centrist.
Man, LeBron's just getting fucking dragged on this show.
Hey, that goes with the LeQueen nickname.
Yeah. Misfit SPF says this is too much government overreach. This isn't a democracy anymore. If that's the case, this is a dictatorship. Amen. And to be clear, so Bill C-63, because the government was pro-rogue, it is essentially thrown in the bin. Now, they can very easily bring it back if they want. I don't know that Carney has specifically said he will, but he has absolutely said he's very concerned with social media and that action needs to be taken. So to me, the fact that the Liberal Party already had a bill that essentially fits with that rhetoric suggests that they might try to dust that off. And if they do on this show, we're going to be sounding the alarm quite aggressively.
100%.
Robin says, we survived hate speech this long, we will be fine. And that's exactly it. Society will police itself. Look, if I were to go down to the grocery store down the street, and let's say there was a black woman who was cashier, and I start getting belligerent and calling her the N-word. Yes, that's wrong, but everyone around me is going to turn on me and be like, get the fuck out of here, buddy. That is society policing itself. No one would just be okay with that. We don't need that to be crime. It doesn't need to be criminal, because once you start making speech crimes, now you're going to have to appoint someone to decide where that line is. And very often it is not going to be where we believe it should be, where common sense, it's going to be used to protect narratives and to push, approve narratives. And it means if as Nico was saying, one of my main things on X is talking about trans issues, but more along the lines of just leave the kids alone and, keep men out of women's sports, women's prisons. That would be considered hate speech under Bill C-63. And that's, to say that it's hate speech to say that women can't have penises and men can't give birth. To me, that's just the epitome of insanity.
Agreed. Hey, guys, I didn't say it all show, but I need to say it right now. Please like, please comment, please share this stream if you're on X. Make sure to subscribe. If you're a first-time listener, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is how you can support us. So, yeah, good. And by the way, you said... I'm always going to point those things out because you say it all the time. It's fucking awesome. But you just said it's like me going down to the store down the road. You like to double on your things. Like, what was your self-policing itself?
Oh, yeah. So self-policing itself. The society will, we will self-police itself.
Yeah. I will always point like do-do.
Yeah,
they do-do.
I do. Yeah. Get a bit redundant sometimes.
It's entertaining, bro.
Yeah,
I like it.
I'm glad.
I like it.
Glad I can be here to entertain you.
Exactly.
Sasquatch says a cop falsely arrested someone in America over the guy talking shit on Facebook about the cops. The cop that arrested him is
that what?
Facebook about the cops. The cop that arrested him is still in jail. The government was like, you had no right to arrest him. See, that's the way it should be. If you're, he clearly trampled the guy's civil rights, right? His constitutional rights, and that's the way it should be. Imagine talking shit about the cops on Facebook and buddy arrests you over that. And then Sasha says, I think the guy who got arrested settled for $500K. Oh yeah, again, as he should be.
Good for him. Good for you, bro.
Robin agrees. She says we don't need overreach. Agreed. Jason says, Nico and Rob, I really love your consistency on free speech. Yeah, it has to be that way, right? And as you say, regular, Jason, you need, popular speech doesn't need to be protected. By definition, it has to be offensive speech that requires legal protections. That's the speech that's going to get shut down. Speech that everybody agrees with doesn't need to be protected because we all agree with it anyways.
If you and I did not agree on free speech being the most important right that we have, we couldn't do this show.
No,
we would never agree on anything because this is the base. Now we can disagree on gun rights, and obviously we do. Yep. But free speech is the number one thing. You cannot agree with someone that doesn't care about free speech. I can't because this is my moral. This is where all my moral values stems from.
Yeah. Jason, speaking of beating the drum, he's on his pet issue. In the USA, Israel is the only country they're trying to protect from criticism. You can trash Canada, the UK, Russia, even the USA, but Israel, people losing their shit. I mean, I will give you this. There are I've definitely seen people who are simply criticizing the policies of Israel and are being accused of anti-Semitism. And that's not right either. You need to be able to criticize the policies of Israel, just like you have to be able to criticize the policies of any sovereign nation. But there's definitely some actual anti-Semitism that's getting thrown in there. Now, do I think anti-Semitism should be criminalized? Absolutely not. People should be free to be anti-Semitic as much as they want. And, society, again, will police itself. The chips will fall where they may. I think, Nico, as you said before, you want those people, you want the next Hitler to be free to speak out. You don't want these people working in the shadows, right? You want to be able to identify them. Okay, that's someone who we should, stay away from, or I don't want to listen to that guy because I know it's just this idea that like words can cause physical damage. I don't know when this happened over the last, 10 or 20 years, but we really got to push back hard against that idea. Words are just fucking words.
It's very interesting because yes, you can criticize Israel without criticizing Jews.
Yes,
like those are not the same thing at all. So I'll agree with Jason on that one. But this is my favorite one right now. I think Rob is a graduate of the Academy of Redundancy Academy. Oh fuck! Do you remember?
That's classic.
Yeah, the five rules of dodgeball. Man, I get to reference.
Oh yeah. That's
my favorite.
Yeah.
This is probably my favorite movie. Hold on, I have it here. Hold on, I have it here. Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. And when the guy's saying it, he's just like and dodge. So that should be we should make we have to make a t-shirt about something that's redundant.
Yeah.
We should just put your face on a t-shirt. Once our logo's done, we'll put your face on a t-shirt. It'll be in quotation and it's gonna say society needs to self-police itself.
Self-policing itself.
I'm gonna write that down in my t-shirt. All of my stuff.
In the t-shirt angle.
I would wear that t-shirt proudly, bro. Not proudly because it's a sin, but I will happily wear that t-shirt.
That's funny.
Your face with quotation around. Society needs to police it. What is it? Society? No, how did you say it?
Society, yeah, fucking society will always police itself. Society will always self-police itself. Please.
Society need. Oh yeah.
I was speaking of just remember we were commenting on Bumpy Johnson there and the username. I ended up watching American Gangster last night. Man, that was a good.
American Gangster, that's the name.
I love that movie. Denzel.
And he got caught because of that fucking fur coat that his wife bought him.
Oh, I know,
too flashy. He was too flashy.
There's a lesson there. There's a lesson there.
What a bitch.
Wise guy says, my mother used to say sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. And I mean, we've all heard it before, right? Most of our mothers have said something like that, but a lot of these things are cliches for a reason because they're absolutely correct. And I think in this day and age, we definitely need to sort of get back to some of these things that we all took for granted, maybe, up until about, maybe 20 years ago, that were just common nuggets of absolutely common sense wisdom.
Like self-policing itself.
Exactly. Right. That's just
wisdom right there.
Absolutely common sense wisdom. Misfit says, so now I got to ask, if Carney gets that bill passed and I move to the S, will the U.S. government deport me to the Canadian government wants me in jail for saying Carney is a pussy? I suspect not, because it would not be a crime in America. I think America would not deport anyone for a crime, something that's not a crime in America.
Now, no, and I can tell you why, because the UK, there's a police chief in the UK that tried to go after speech that was done in the US, and he cannot extradite them. You're not capable of extraditing them, but be very careful because this has happened already. I should look for it. I should look for the article that talks about it, but supposedly that there is a woman from memory that criticized the UK, said something that is now considered hate speech in the UK.
Yeah.
Went to the UK. She got arrested. She got stopped from entering the country for the speech that she made. So if I remember correctly, that woman is no longer capable of going to England or to the UK because of speech she said online. So they can't arrest her, but they can prevent her from entering the country. So now words will prevent you from entering the UK. That's fucked, man. That's really fucked.
That's really wild. Yeah, that's wild. Joe with a great comment here.
No, hold on. Hold on. This is Robin. You're not talking about the woman I was just saying right now, right?
No, Lucy Connolly, I believe Robin is talking about. I'll try to find the actual tweet she made. I think she deleted it too, like within like 2 hours, because she obviously was just upset or whatever. But I'll try to find it. But I think it was probably a little bit rude, maybe. But to put a mother in jail for 2 years for saying,
oh, that's a girl from earlier in the UK that's saying, okay, not the American, the one I was talking about. Okay,
yeah, but it's I wonder if I can find it here. She has visitation with her kids, but man, that's far from. Oh, I got it. I'll put the. So this is what we might be in store for if Bill C-63 passes. Can we see that here?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So this is.
Hold on. Let me remove that.
Yeah. This is Lucy Connolly here. She's a mother of two. These are her little girls. Oh, and this was on the story. Do you remember the three girls that were killed in they were stabbed by that guy Axel Ruda Cubana. It kind of caused definitely some unrest. Here's the tweet that she put out. Massive portions now set fire to all the hotel. I mean, clearly she's calling for, she did delete it and she should have. This is not, I think that this is something that should not have been posted, because you're talking about violence, right? Set fire to all the hotels. While you're at it, take the treacherous government and politicians with them. I feel physically sick knowing what these families will now have to endure. If that makes me racist, so be it. It's obviously ill-advised thing to tweet, and she did delete it 2 hours later. Does that warrant 2 years? 2 years in jail? I don't believe so. I think that's I think that's a real scary thing. She's obviously frustrated, and she's frustrated because she's seeing a government who is not doing anything. They see these mass rape gangs of people from a very specific country. It's entirely or something like 80% of these grooming gangs, and they're targeting young white girls, and the government is sweeping it under the rug. The parents are being arrested when they try to get these girls back from these men. because they're being told that it is, it's going to cause too much social unrest if they go out and make these accusations. So yeah, people are going to get frustrated when they see that. And so I've heard, I mean, I don't have time to do it right now. We could, if people are interested, we could talk about it at another show, but from actual survivors, I heard one story of a survivor who said her father, she was being held in she was grabbed off the street, was being held at one of these people's homes. He called all his cousins over and they all came over and were raping her. Her father was outside banging on the door. The cops were called and her father got arrested. And this is directly from the victim's mouth. She's 35 years old now and she's an activist, obviously. So when people see that, they're going to get frustrated. And so the government should look in the mirror and look at itself when they see that, instead of going after and jailing mothers for 2 years for, saying something that's probably ill-advised in the heat of an emotional moment. It could have used as a learning, teaching moment, but to put a mother in jail away from her kids for 2 years for that, I think that's horrific. I don't want to be part of that kind of society.
Should there be consequences for her comments? Yes.
I agree with
from
that.
the government. Should she lose her job? Could her employer look at this and say, that's not the type of person I want working for me, and fire you for this?
I think that's completely fair. And this
is not a free speech problem.
Policing itself.
But this is not a free speech problem. You have the right to say whatever the fuck you want. That doesn't mean that there's not going to be any consequences to it.
Yep.
It's just the free speech is normally about the government. Is the government not censoring you from saying what you want to say? But this is violence. Like, she literally, if I read that properly, she's calling for setting those hotels on fire. Yep. That's fucked up. That's really fucked up. Yep. If you start calling black guys the N-word, is that a problem? Yeah, well, let's see what happens. Is it possible for an employer to say, well, that's not the type of behavior I want my employees to have?
And that's entirely appropriate.
Then I fire you. But nothing's preventing you from saying it. And the government cannot arrest you for saying it. That's where the problem is, right? When in the UK, you have people getting arrested for that is a problem. Does that mean that her employer can't fire her? No. Those are two very, very different things. And free speech is everything. But that does not mean it's free of consequences. You can say whatever the fuck you want, but people will talk about it. People will judge you. People will have an opinion. You might get hated for it, but it's still your right to say it. As stupid as it might be, I want you to be able to say all the dumb shit or all the racist shit that you want, because I want to see you coming. Like you said earlier, and I've said this before, I want to see the next Hitler rise. I want to see him. I want to be able to pinpoint him from the get-go, and not him growing underground, growing behind the scene, amassing a massive amount of followers. And when he pops, you're like, where the fuck did that guy come from? No, I want to see it from the get-go. Let people say whatever the fuck they want, and society itself will police itself.
Yes. Society itself will self-police itself.
Is that what you said?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Society itself will self-police itself. But what you said is a good example of exactly that. I think it would be entirely appropriate for that woman to lose her job. Or if someone was like, yeah, I don't want to be necessarily associated with that person. I don't think jailing someone for 2 years for any type of speech is appropriate. Now let's say someone did go and burn that house down. Could she then be maybe liable for that? I think so. But if it did not, if nothing actually happened and it was just speech, it's certainly an interesting debate, because she clearly did, like Tommy Robinson. He said nothing like that. He just talked facts.
Yeah. He pointed out the problems.
Yeah,
but he's a white guy.
Yes, exactly right. And as Jason says, she should lose her job. Outside of being protected from government persecution, free speech is not a dull butter knife, but a double-edged sword. It's a great comment.
Should she lose her job? No, that's not what I'm saying. But could she? Yes. That could be one of the consequences.
If I was her employee or employer and she was at a public-facing job, I would probably fire her for that.
Or we'd have a massive conversations as in, what the fuck did you just throw? Like, I might give her a chance depending on the type of person that she is.
If she deleted it for 2 hours later, that I would factor that in too.
So but the thing is should there be a possibility of her losing her job? Absolutely. That should be one of the consequences if her employer thinks it's the right thing to do. You're not protected. You're protected to be able to say all the dumb shit that you want. That doesn't mean there won't be consequences.
Yeah, exactly right, and that's where I think the line should be. Free speech should be about government persecution, government criminalization.
That is society itself policing itself.
Society
right
itself.
Sasquatch is saying that Nico in a room full of black guys could be harmful for his health, throwing the N-word around. Getting arrested is the least of your problems. Society itself regulating itself. That is, or self-policing itself. Yes. You're absolutely right, Sasquatch. There's consequences to your words, and that would be one. I would deserve that. If I go into a room full of black guys that I don't know and I start throwing the N-word around, you know what? I don't care how good I am at fighting. There's just so many guys I can fight at once.
So I have a question. Could 100 Nikos take one gorilla? Did you see you never saw the gorilla discourse? Oh, that was the biggest thing on social media last week. I don't know. It's weird. You know how, like, remember that dress where it was like, is it white? Is it blue? It's just sometimes something just blows up and everybody's talking about it. It was kind of like that last week where, I don't know, someone said it was a debate whether 100 guys could take out one gorilla. And I don't know, to me, I thought 100 guys, of course they could. If they coordinated their actions, it's one fucking gorilla. I mean, of course, one gorilla could just dust probably 10 men, but yeah.
Especially a silverback. If you ever seen a silverback gorilla,
they're wild.
That dude will make you its bitch.
Oh fuck yeah. Oh fuck yeah.
And you're gonna have to say you liked it.
Oh yeah. He's gonna have
those things are see, there is a thread. 100 men versus one single back gorilla.
One silverback gorilla. Oh yeah, no, it was all over social media last
oh, that was last week. You're right.
Yeah, it was
where the fuck was I? I guess I'm too concentrated on
the
writing important smart comments that I don't get targeted by dumb fucking shit like that.
Yeah.
That says a lot about you, bro.
Yeah, I guess so, eh? Gorillas' lives matter, as Sophie says.
See,
couldn't
that's
agree
another
more.
great T-shirt right there. Only the people on the show will understand. Gorilla life matters.
Couldn't agree more. What do you think? You want to wrap her up?
Oh shit, it's 2:15. Yeah,
I don't know. I gotta go pick up my kid.
He doesn't self-pick himself.
No, he self-picks himself up from the. No, I got to get him early. He's got a doctor's appointment today.
What's his name, by the way? Just like the first name.
Isaiah.
Isaiah. Oh Jesus, that's true. It was.
I like a good Bible name. It was going to be Isaiah or Noah, and we went with Isaiah.
Yeah, you don't feel like he steps up to the plate to save civilization.
Yeah, bro, I took one. I was like, nah, bro, he's not a Noah. You don't got it in yet.
You know what? It's okay. Mine's Eli for Elijah. He's the only man outside of Jesus that never died. He ascended to heaven
in the fiery chariots. Yeah.
My little guy has a massive pressure on his shoulder.
Oh fuck! So that's what you guys are going for with is
yeah. This has been chosen for months. It's Eli, but for Elijah, but especially for the book of Eli. I love that movie. I'm such a fan of Denzel.
I love that movie. I love that movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
All right, guys. As always, another great show. Thanks for all the engagement. You know, you guys are what makes the show fun for us, and really what brings all the show together. There was Enoch, says Sasquatch. There was Enoch. Did Enoch not die too?
Hold on.
Because I thought it was Elijah too. Was the only one who hadn't died. Other than
as per last time I was reading, he was the only one outside of Jesus Christ that didn't die. Okay, hey Sasquatch, fuck you. You didn't need to open.
Real can of worms here. Real can of worms, Sasquatch. Just dropping the grenade, takes off. Misfit,
son of a bitch, he's right. No, according to the book of Genesis, Enoch was not taken by death. Instead, God took him. Fuck you, Sasquatch.
Uh-oh. got to rethink some things. Gonna have to talk to the wife.
That's it. We're changing his name to Eli Knock. I'm making shit up right now.
Eli Knock. Misfit says the After Dark stream is when. We've talked a little bit about the Discord channel. That's something that we could, I think something like that will probably sort of happen organically, where I don't know if it'll be an official thing or just once we get enough people there.
I was laughing at the comments because right now it's turning into a joke of Christian names. So sorry.
Yeah. The Discord stream, I think Nico was talking about. We'd like to, be able to just not just me and him, but anybody I think can throw on, because there's a space for it, is there not? Where you can
there's a bunch of conversations
throw on like a stream or something if people just want to kind of shoot the shit.
There's a room at the bottom that is called, hold on, I'll bring it up right here. It's called Voice Channel at the bottom. Misfit, it's either Misfit or Wise Guy. I think it's Wise Guy that always forgets that his microphone's on and somehow in that room by himself. So I'm just saying, bro, if you're doing some weird shit, we're gonna hear about it, and I'm not gonna delete it. I'm just, if you do that online, I will record this shit and I will post it. So be careful. I'm one of those assholes, bro. Yes, there is a voice channel on the Discord server, and the whole intent about this is for people to shoot the shit. If I'm not mistaken, they can host like more than 100 people. You can share your camera. You can go on and see everybody. You can have a conversation. Just please no penis, no dick pic, no dick videos, please. I don't want to have to see this shit, and I don't want to have to police it either, so please keep it civil. But
policing itself,
but that is what
the Discord channel will self-police itself.
Bro, that is the t-shirt that we will give to our future not narrators, but moderators.
Yep, self-policing itself.
I'm self-policing myself.
Society itself will
self-police
itself.
No, what you said is society will always self-police itself. Those were your words. I wrote it. It's fucking epic. It doesn't sound that bad unless you write it down. You're like, self-police itself. Huh?
In my head, it sounded like it made more sense. Guys, we again, another great show. Couldn't appreciate what you guys bring to the table anymore. You could have been anywhere in the world today, and you chose to be here with us, and we are always going to appreciate that. We've this is again a lot of fun. I want to say here, Therese said something really nice. She goes, "You guys are great. Go take care of your beautiful babies. We appreciate that, Therese, just like we appreciate all of our
Babels.
We go take care of Babels. Our beautiful Babels." Fucking this is one of those days. We know what you meant, Therese, and we appreciate that. Guys, we will check you tomorrow. Remember, if there is something you see tonight that makes you go or makes you be like, what the fuck are these idiots doing, throw it in the trending topic, and we'll hit it in the first half hour or so of tomorrow's episode. Other than that, we will see you guys in the Discord. Have fun, and we will see you tomorrow.
Peace out.